I should explain first that this is a tier list that I was planning on presenting 2 weeks ago. So for that reason, this will not include the games that I played 2 weeks ago, including Jazzpunk and Cryptmaster, which I'm still playing. Jazzpunk, I enjoyed Jazzpunk a lot. It was a short experience. It wasn't at all what I was expecting it to be, but for what it was fun. And I'm glad that a lot of y'all watching it, some of you had played it before, but it seemed like people enjoyed that. So it was a good stream to do. I would give that a solid B+ experience. Did I already fill the list? No. As I said before, it's because this list has 200 items on it. I had to do a little bit of pre-planning so I would know like how much room I needed to put certain things in certain places. And thank you for reminding me, because I need to actually pull up the... I have a pretty good idea of where everything goes now, but I'm going to pull up my notes list just in case I forgot. Tier list. There it is. Okay. And it also will let me remember what order I put these in so I know what's coming. I've tried to keep these basically in chronological order. So we're going to see the things that I played way back in the day. And we might see some other fun stuff in between here too. So are you going to get them all through on one stream? Like I said, I'm planning on a couple hours for this. There's a lot of games on here that are just like, yeah, I needed something to play. I was still figuring out what kind of streamer I was going to be, so I just threw this up here, and I barely remember playing it, so that's a C tier. Move on. There's going to be a lot of those. not too many. Let's just bring the list down. This is what I've been planning all week, and this is a really special moment because I really want this to work. So, all right, everyone, now get your butts ready for the giant tier list of every game that I, Arnie Ratterson, have ever streamed. Thank you. There it is. We finally got there. Thank you, B. All right. There it is. There's the giant tier list. You know I have a crew, chat. You never see them because that's just how professional they are. But I have a lot of helpers up here. Maybe you'll get to meet them one day once I make them presentable. All right. There's a lot of different criteria to use here, but I'm looking mainly at two things. First of all, was the stream a good experience, at least from what I remember about it? And was the game lined up with what I was hoping to get out of it? Because I did play some crap games that I knew were crap going in. And did I enjoy playing the crap game? Sometimes, yes, not always. So it's kind of on the balance where we'll be judging these things. The S tier games I would consider, like, these are the series, if anyone wants to know what an Arnie Rat stream is all about, those are the ones that I would point to. And there haven't been too many. I've been trying to really reserve that top slot for the best, at least in my opinion. I'm just judging these myself. So I'm happy to hear your thoughts, but we're going back into some times that I don't think any of you were watching me. This is way, way back in the day. Here we go. First game that I ever streamed, the ones that we're counting. And it's actually two games. Quest for Glory 1 and 2. I had played these games a ton back in my my early teen gaming days. It's an adventure game series from Sierra. It does a lot of cool like RPG stuff. It was that was the thing that was unique about it. And it had a great sense of humor. Lori and Corey Cole designed it. They've done some things here and there, but it's just one of those games that kind of shaped my my whole gamer brain growing up. And that's where the dancing Shima on my desk in the earlier scene came from. Shamin and Shima. So this game was part of my furry awakening back in the early 90s, if you believe that. So yeah, this cover, there were two versions of this game, and I played the VGA one because that's the one I played back then. But I also played the second one as well, and I actually played these twice on stream. So I played this last year when I did my big relaunch, which was me introducing the new model in the static version of the new Attic. I don't have a lot else to say about it, other than it was a really good experience. I wouldn't say it was like the best experience, maybe because I just remembered like the really lonely time of streaming it the first time around. But I'm glad that I found out that a lot of people were familiar with this series. I would love to go back and play the other games in the series at some point if I ever find the time. But I would say that it's a very memorable experience for me playing it. I wouldn't put it at the very top, but it is a solid A, so you get an A and you go on the board. Now, as you can see, those are pretty tiny, but hopefully you're watching me in full screen mode, or you can watch the VOD later. So that is the A. Is it a tier list for ants? Yes. I don't have a way to zoom in. Like I said, there's 200 items. I had to get them all on the screen somehow. We'll figure it out. All right. Next up, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Hey, want to see what my first playthrough of this was like? That was me. It was my first streams. Remember this guy who was screaming before he died? You okay, Ted? Oh, no, Ted's a zombie. Yes! Oh, I brought this up too in his playthrough. This is where I started calling everyone Ted in video games. Because this came up a lot when I was playing a lot of different games. There would just be one guy who just worked at the palace and had to deal with all the shit exploding and people turning into zombies. And he was very unhappy about it. And he'd just be yelling at you, and then they would die. That came up an awful lot in video games, and I'd always name that guy Ted because he's just the guy in the office that he's just trying to get the copier to work, and someone started eating his leg. I really liked playing this. I had not played this game before I streamed it 3 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Now, again, if you put yourself back in my streamer chair when I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I was just filling time. I had quite a few people come in. Those early months were kind of backseaty, just because people would come in, and I'm thankful that anyone was watching. But a lot of folks would just see that they're playing some game that they really like and try and give you like all the secrets. And I was too shy to tell anybody to like, could you like not maybe? So. I eventually got better about that, but it wasn't too bad. The other games in the series later that we'll get to were a little bit worse about that. But I enjoy the game a lot. We've talked some about the combat and how grindy it is. I noticed when I played it this second time around that I'm a little more used to the rhythm of it, but it's still, it's not the best part about this game. I like the puzzle solving and the flipping around on walls and stuff. But yeah, I still have very fond memories of playing that for the first time around. So that gets a solid A. And I don't know, maybe with this series that we're playing it again, it'll get it up into S territory. It's it for that one. I gotta stop saying that after everything. I'm so nervous. All right. It's also because I'm a little bit burned out because I've been grinding at this for like a week, and all the windows on my 3 monitors are starting to blur together a little bit. So I'm just gonna press the next item button, which is what I'm doing, and I'll just see what comes up and we'll talk about it. So next up, Horizon Forbidden West. Oh yeah, watch this. Watch for the spinning guy.
I swear, there he is.
Yes. This is like one of the early like clips that I generated. So I'm a huge fan of the Horizon series, and I played a little bit of the Zero Dawn remaster a couple months ago, where I got to talk a little bit here. And I played this game on the PS5 the week it came out, so it was still a little buggy. So I was expecting a glitch here and there, but gosh, I could not have asked for a better glitch than that one. There was a big battle scene before that, and at some point I knocked the character off a horse, and he just kept like spinning in the air on his back forever. And that was good enough. But then the battle ended, and then there was like a whole cutscene of like waking up the next day and looking at all the dead people. And that same guy was still spinning. Like, they just used the same scene in game, and they never bothered cleaning up any of the dead people, which I guess is cool because it like keeps like the results of the battle the same. But that there was a whole dialogue between Aloy and some other guy telling her about her mission, and it was a really solemn conversation, and that guy was still spinning the whole time. It was beautiful. And unfortunately, I don't have that highlight. So Twitch is now putting a limit on highlights, but even before that happened, I noticed that highlight wasn't working. So I might re-upload that again and put it up on my YouTube channel sometime, because I got to preserve that moment, because there wasn't a whole lot else about me playing this game that I really remember. I'm a big fan of the Horizon games, but I never felt like viewers get quite as into it as I do. I think that's just true of the Horizon games in general. So I still like the game, highly recommend it. I'm going to finish this game at some point, but the playthrough, I only did it for like 2 streams, so it was fine. It gets a C. I gotta stop looking at the list. I'm only looking at the list so I remember what I ranked these things, because again, I've only got so much space. But if I did this right, then even if I overfill a row, it'll just push the older items out. So it's not really a big deal. So let's just do it. Let's just go through this. Burnout 3 Takedown. So again, I was trying to find my footing and figure out what games I was gonna stream mostly. And I still have my PS2, my hardware PS2. And I thought I'll do a stream where I just play Burnout 3. Oh, jeez. Where I play Burnout 3, because everyone loves that game. It is a great game. And yeah, it's a great game for just, yeah, like driving cars around and chatting, basically. There's not really a whole lot in the game to talk about. You drive fast and you wreck stuff. It's great. It's great. So yeah, I'd say it's an above average experience. It's one of those games, yeah, you just throw in if you need need something to play. And yes, I did keep these mainly in chronological order with a handful of exceptions that I'll talk about later. And on that note, I think I actually played this in the same stream later, but this is another one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games, Gradius 5. I used to be a lot more of a shmup player than I am now. My eyes don't work like they used to. Neither do my hands, for that matter. I was never great at shmups, but I always liked playing them. And this is a game that was developed by some folks who went on to form Treasure, who would work on Ikaruga and a bunch of other really good stuff. So it's not your typical Gradius game. It's got some puzzly elements to it, but it's just a really good game. It's another one of those I can just pick up and play every now and then if I just want to, you know, have that happy time juice in me. So yeah, it's a B. Like, it's hard to talk and stream that game at the same time just because the shooting is that one McDonald. Which one? Sorry, I gotta look back at the context and figure out what y'all are talking about. What McDonald's game? All right, we'll revisit that. All right, next up is Opus Magnum. Ronald in Gradius Land. Oh, it's Gradius, not Grimace. You don't get those confused. All right, Opus Magnum. This is a puzzle game. It's one of the Zachtronics puzzle games. This is the only one of those that I've played. McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure for Genesis. I haven't played that one. I don't know why you thought of that, but I'll put that one on my list, sure. Yeah, Opus Magnum. I didn't know what to expect when I got into this. People had told me that it was kind of a programmer's puzzle game, and I get that now. Yeah, I really got into this. I enjoyed, it had story, so I had some reading to do, and it's less puzzly. It's because you can build these machines that create these orbs that spin them around, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, and I feel like this was the first series where I started getting more comfortable with talking through my thought processes, which I'm glad, because I was nervous about doing puzzle games. I was anxious about having, a lot of backseaters and stuff. But this isn't really that kind of puzzle game. It's more open-ended, and you got a lot of ways to get to the end. So it's more of a sandboxy puzzle game, I would say. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I don't know if I'd go back to this one specifically, but I'd like to try some of the other Zachtronic games as well, just to say that I have. So it's also where that clip of me belching really loud came from. And I gotta say, for the record, I have not had a belch that loud since then, on stream or otherwise. So that's a very special clip. Make sure you save that somewhere for posterity. Oh, I need to rank it. That's an A. That gets an A. All right, sip break while I pull this up. Let me know if the music gets distracting. I don't know how to show it off now, but it's called Oops. It's on my, I think I have it on my featured clips list. Down. It was just funny because I was reading this really it was a really quiet dialogue between these two characters because their captain had just died and they were figuring out what to do, and it came out of nowhere. I wasn't ready for it. I couldn't have timed it better if I was trying to. All right, what is next? Next up is System Shock, the first one. Oh, here's me playing. Here's more of
probably not.
Oh, watch my my little icon at the top left
Flop in there.
as I try and squeeze through this gap.
Look at my portrait. I'm so torn.
I had a lot of fun with this.
Doing squats like a madman. My core muscles are going to be outstanding. I'm just going to be picking up the cyborgs and ripping them in half with my bare thighs.
Oh, yeah. So I'm a big fan of System Shock. I was a real big fan of System Shock 2. That was the only one I had played up to that point. This is not it's the original, but it's the enhanced version, but it's basically the original. There's some better keyboard shortcuts, but it's just the original game. I knew that this game was kind of revolutionary, and I'm a big fan of the classic M-Sim, so your System Shocks, your Thief, your Ultima Underworlds, which I haven't played, but I have it on my backlog, so you might see that one again soon. So, yeah, getting into this game was a little bit rough, again, just because the controls were so 1994 PC game where you have to use, all the 16 F keys that you had back then and the numpad just to play the game. As I forced myself to keep playing it, I started getting why this game was considered, a classic. It is really, really good. It's a tricky one to recommend, but if you commit to what it's throwing down, it's a great experience. It started just a lot of conventions that we see anymore. And I actually played this again on stream. This is my first attempt that I didn't finish, but I played it again right before the reboot came out in 2023, and we'll see that one a little bit later as well. But yeah, this is a great experience both times, and yeah, it gets an A. Next up. Oh, what is this? Wait, this is talking about shmups. This is a game called Ketsui, and this was part of a stream where I just wanted to play some shmups on stream, and this is one of my favorite Cave shmups. Cave is a company that made a ton of really great shoot-'em-ups, arcade shoot-'em-ups, that a lot of which didn't ever make it to the US, except on because a lot of them came out on the Xbox 360, but I think even then you had to hack your 360 a little bit to get them to work. Now we're seeing more ports of those come around, but I did play quite a few of those, and Ketsui is on top of my list of ones that I would recommend. Apart from that, I don't really remember anything about the stream. It was fine. I really never got back into shmups on stream again. Maybe someday, but it was just okay. Again, this is me feeling out what I wanted to do. Next one was Mushihime-sama. Same deal. Now this one actually does have a Steam port, which is fine. This game has a sequel called Mushihime-sama Futari, which is really good. I like it better than this one. This one's good. Has a lot of slowdown in it, which as true a lot of those arcade games, but I mean, there's a lot of slowdown. So it was fine. It's one of those games I just play every now and then for whatever, but nothing I would be passionate about. All right. What is next? Oh, Wing Commander 4. Do I have a clip? Oh, I do have a clip for this.
Getting under attack. Whoa! Oh my gosh! Is it gone? Nice. They blew it up before I could get there. I hope that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, that is my experience with that game in a nutshell. It is hard as shit. Now, I had played Wing Commander 2 back in my PC gaming days, along with Quest for Glory. Wing Commander 2 was a lot of fun, and I wanted to play another Wing Commander game that I hadn't played before. And this one's got it's got Luke Skywalker and Biff Tannen in it. How could you not like that? I think Mark Hamill was in Wing Commander 3 also. They just brought his character into this one. I thought, I want to play a game that has like the cheesiest FMV. And it was cheesy and it was great fun. Like I said, the game itself was just too daggone hard. I would love to try this again. I'd have to practice it a lot off stream. Hi Rex, nice to see you. Kid me, skip the F. Yeah, we didn't know what we were missing. But yeah, I would, I can't commit to anything because who knows what is going to make it on my schedule. But I'm going to see a lot of games in this list where I'm like, boy, I wish I could give that one another try and do it better. So yeah, maybe more Wing Commander stuff later. Oh, this one was really special too because this was the first stream with my 3D model. It's where I finally replaced the stock photo of the rat and used the Julie Winterpaw rat model, which was really the only 3D rodent model that I could even find 3 years ago. So thank you so much for making that. And here we are now. Look at me now. Far we've come. So yeah, Wing Commander, like I said, it's got a lot of ups, but had a lot of downs too. So I'd have to put it right in the middle. If I get a chance to do it again, we'll have the opportunity to make that a better experience. So I also played Star Fox 64 on stream. So this was a game that I played when I realized I couldn't get any farther in Wing Commander 4. I got to go get the Switch and hook it up so I can play Star Fox 64 because I got to fill out another half of a stream. I like this game. I hadn't played it actually before then, and it was really good. I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. It's Star Fox 64. Yeah, so many of these games are things like, I know these are beloved games, but I just never had the time to commit to getting really good at it. It wasn't the kind of streamer I was going to end up being. It did what I needed it to, so it gets a C. All right, next item up for bids is, Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. I'm a big fan of the Crash games. I grew up with Crash 2, and I skipped 1. I never had it. 2 was the one I had, so that was the one I played. And apparently that was a good idea because 1 was hard as dicks. It was the one where you had limited continues. Crash 2 was also hard as shit, but it at least let you keep going until I collected all the stuff. I skipped 3, which is also supposed to be one of the really good ones, but 4 is really, really good. I highly recommend if you like the Crash games. The thing I like about 4 is it is really hard, but you can kind of dial your own difficulty because you'll like rip your hair out trying to get all the collectibles. But if that's what you enjoy, there's plenty of collectibles in this game. Crash 4, it's really good. I recommend it. It was a great time to stream. It gets an A. It's still not, it's going to be a while until we get to our S tier stuff, the stuff that I would say absolutely is foundational. Next item. Oh, Short Hike. This is a really good game. It's a short game. It's very chill. It's just one of those like games you can explore. I remember when Lil Gator game came out, a lot of people played that and pointed out similarities between that game and this one, which came out a little bit earlier. But it's that kind of game. You're on an island, you can fly around, you collect stuff, you talk to people about your experiences, and you meet a lot of characters. So this game gave me a lot of voice acting to do too. So I was happy about that. It was only like a 2.5-hour stream, but I think very fondly of it. So yeah, that gets an A. Yeah, I definitely recommend. It's worth a try. Like I said, it's like a 2 or 3 hour game, depending on how much you want to run around doing stuff. All right, coming up next, fuck me. It's Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. Holy moly. Okay, so again, this is another game that I would actually like to maybe try again. The main thing, I remember a couple things about trying to play this. First of all, it's a very different experience. It's not too different. Like I said, one of the weak parts of the first game was the combat, so they really tried to make it more interesting, and I got to give them credit for that. Where I think I got really hung up was on some boss I was fighting around the middle of the game, because as fleshed out as the combat was, it was still pretty frustrating, and I hit a hard wall on that. This was also a stream where I remember having a bunch of backseaters for this, so it was just one of those things I couldn't control. So I got fed up with this game, and I'd like to try it again, but I don't have a lot of good memories of it. It was a D for disappointing, so it gets a deflating balloon D, and we'll just put that back on the shelf for now. Next up, Chicken Police Paint It Red. This was a weird game. I don't remember a lot about it. I don't think really anyone watched me play this, but it's a wild game. I recommend it if you like. I mean, look, if you look at the game, this is pretty much what it is. It's a kind of visual novel. It has some detective interrogation mini games in the middle. It's got a really interesting story. Visually, I mean, you don't forget a game like this. I think the sequel to this came out fairly recently, like in the last few months or so, maybe? I don't know. It reminded me that I played the first one way back in the day. Even though it's a visual novel, it has, like, all the voice lines are recorded, so I didn't really have much to do except sit back and let it play out. It's a great experience. I don't know if it was a great streaming experience or not, so I'm gonna have to just give that one a middle of the road C kind of game. But if it looks interesting to you, I would say check it out. It's like a detective noir thing. There's a lot of different like photorealistic animal people in it, which I kind of dig that aesthetic as well. All right, next up, Eye of the Beholder 2. Oh,
so Rat Jam is my paladin, Keck is my fighter thief, Monk S is my mage, and Omega Lol is my cleric.
Put a wall behind the door.
You built the door in front of your secret wall. There's nothing.
Okay, I really liked playing this. This is another one of those games from like teen Arnie gamer memories on the PC and through college. Played a lot of this game. It was really hard back in the day. This game had like a 50-page strategy guide, and the manual was about as long as well. But it was still very playable. The one thing I like about that screenshot reminded me of was that there was a third-party program that actually adds the mini-map to it, and you kind of need that to play the game. I didn't have that back in the day, so when I play that again with that add-on, it made the whole experience a lot smoother. Oh, the other fun thing about that clip was that I was starting to do like the green screen t-shirts, so I didn't have to make like a whole chainmail armor set. I could just do the green screen. It's a dungeon crawl, but it's got some good puzzles in it. It's got gelatinous cubes, all your friends. It was really tough, but having played it again like 30 years after the fact, I realized how much I liked it. I think that game holds up pretty well if you like that sort of thing. So, A for Eye of the Beholder 2. I'm gonna put you back on the shelf. Oh, Fix Fox. Okay, so I really wanted to like this game. It's an adventure puzzle type game. Actually, if anyone has, gotta keep forgetting the name of this. It's a newer game. It's called Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop. There's a lot of bits in this game that reminded me of Fix Fox. It has a lot of that kind of mini game in it. And when I first saw this, I thought that I like that kind of like puzzle game. I think this will be great. And FixFox just didn't have enough of that. Like it started out promising, but then it didn't go anywhere. It had some interesting like story bits, but then it just, I don't know. It got a little bit repetitive. I haven't played Rocket Shop myself. I've watched other people stream it. It has a lot going. It seems to have a lot more going on than FixFox did, but maybe, I guess your mileage varies. It's D for disappointing because I just really wanted it to be more than it was, and I thought the character design was cute, but yeah, FixFox just needed a little more fixing. So better luck next time. Next up, Doom Eternal. Oh, who doesn't like Doom? I like Doom. I played Doom 16. I really liked it. I'm not a really big FPS kind of guy, but there's enough there. I think the newer Doom games are pretty accessible, and I enjoyed the heck out of Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal was really hard for me because it's paced a lot differently than Doom 16 is. It's almost constant motion that you have to be in because everything just spawns and enemies will get behind you, and it took me a while to get into that rhythm. That said, I would love to give Doom Eternal another try now that I have a better feel for it. But it's just one of those games that, I just didn't get a lot of traction on when like I said, I was still trying to hit affiliate. I was trying to figure out what people wanted to see. And nobody really seemed interested. So I thought, I'll play that on my own. But it was still a really good game. I had fun with it. And so it gets a B. It was above average. I like it. All right. Next up, here we go. System Shock 2. Speaking of, this was on top of my like all-time faves, and like I said, I played this game before the first System Shock, and I had pretty strong opinions about this one. The more I played the first System Shock, I realized that, oh yeah, this is why people really love that first one. It's a much smaller group of people that played that first one because it was so. It was hard to get into because of the controls. So not a lot of people play the original System Shock. Once this one came out, people started getting the word that this whole series was really good and that Looking Glass knew what they were doing. That said, System Shock 2 is not perfect by any means. It's got some balance issues. There's a lot, they put a lot in it that just doesn't go anywhere. Like there's a lot of cool alien weapons, but they kind of suck next to the grenade launcher. So it had that going against it. It also didn't look great. They recycled the engine from Thief 2 to make this. And even by 2000 standards or 1999, I can't remember. People are like, well, this game kind of looks like ass still. But it's got all the great things about the System Shock that Looking Glass is really good at. Sound design, awesome. The storytelling through the audio logs is great. It's very tense with the weapon durability, which was a little contentious, but I thought it was okay. One of these days, I want to play this game again. I know Night Dive is working on an enhanced edition of this one, but you can still play this version. It's still playable. I have the Steam version. I had no issues with it. But yeah, System Shock 2. I love it. I don't know where I rank this as a stream experience. I mainly just loved experiencing it again because it had been a while since I replayed it, so it was fun to talk about. So I would say that's an A. Next up, what is next? Could this be? Oh, fuck me. It's Bad Rats. This game is bad. This game is bad, which you probably know. I played this for a couple hours on stream, and sometimes you pick a game out and it's going to be bad, and you're like, maybe this game will be bad enough that I can get some entertainment out of it. And I will say, Bad Rats, it almost does that. It's got a janky ass physics engine, and I was knocking my rats around through the puzzles, and I feel like it would have been okay, but it had some really stupid, ugly racial stereotypes in it, and I don't want to play this anymore. And unfortunately, 2008 is just that. Was 2008? I don't know. It was sometime around there. I think they might have even done like a reboot of this, but I don't know. I can't recommend Bad Rats to anyone. And I would love to play like a janky physics-based puzzle game. I mean, we have Little Big Planet for that, which I also played. Anyway, Bad Rats gets the first F on my list. You know, I wanted to do a thing where when I rated a game F, it would like spin the game around as it went down and make a toilet flushing sound, but I was so shot by the end of last week. I thought, well, there's only like 4 or 5 games on the F tier list, so I was like, it's not worth it. You can imagine, just floosh, down you go. All right, next up on the list, Rogue Legacy 2. I really love the first Rogue Legacy. I played Rogue Legacy 2 a lot, but I think I only streamed it like once or twice. It was a game that I was hoping a lot more people would be familiar with, but I think anyone else was playing it at the time. It's a roguelite platformer. It's a lot of fun. Gosh, it's like, I think it had just come out like in 2022, and it's done getting update. You're very kind of mid on Rogue Legacy. 2 is a lot better than 1, I will say. There's a lot more in it, but I like it a lot. It was an above average streaming time. But I mainly played it off stream. Next up is Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. Oh, this was fun. Okay. This game was a lot of fun.
Can't do that either. Okay.
Lightsabers.
Thing, please.
And really good lightsaber combat.
What?
And your lightsaber would get stuck in the wall.
I didn't know I could do that. I don't have a... Oh, there it is. Give me my lightsaber, please. Ah! I can't hear myself think. I forgot that could happen. Push button. Push button. Push button. Receive bacon. Get out of here. Okay.
That's how you know I'm having fun in a game where just things are happening and I'm just saying whatever random shit pops into my head in the moment. That game was a lot of fun. That was put out by Raven. Yeah, that game in particular was known for how fluid the lightsaber combat was. And I enjoyed it a lot. I never went back to playing like Star Wars games. I was going to do that as like my May 4th thing, but I got away from it, and I never found a game good enough to go back. I wanted to play something like TIE Fighter, like the old stuff. So maybe this year I'll make that happen. But that's a really good game. I give that an A. And I think that might have been the first time I did the Arnie sign, the neon sign, which I haven't found a place for in the new setup yet. I don't know if I'll force it. That was based on an old restaurant sign from a chain that used to be where I used to live. Have I played any of the Dark? No. So I brought this up a lot too. Those games have a weird naming system because there's Dark Forces, and then Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2, and then Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and then like Jedi Outcast. It just goes on and on like that. I'm like, jeez, pick a lane. All right. Next is Devil May Cry 5. I don't remember a thing about this game. I was trying to see if playing something a little more modern would be more interesting. I didn't know anything about the DMC games. I really feel like you don't have to. You can pick up 5. It's just a total like mess of a story, and it's pure chaos, and it's a lot of fun. So if you just want to jump into the action, I think 5 is perfectly great. I don't remember a thing about streaming it. I think I only streamed it once, so it must have been fine. I remember I didn't hate it, so you get to see. What's next? Wilder Myth. Oh, this is another game I wanted to make more of a series of because I love the concept behind it. It's like a narrative-based RPG that's tactical, and it's got a lot of mods now, so I know there's like werewolves and stuff you can add. It didn't hold my interest the way I was hoping it would. I don't know. Yeah. I thought I might play it more off stream, but I think it's just this style of game in particular. I have to be really invested in the strategy side of it. And it got a little confusing to me. And I think that's why I never like really hung with it. So, yeah, as another game on the list of games that I'd love to try again on my own time and get into them, but like, who knows There's so many games competing for my attention anymore, so that's a C. Okay, since you mentioned it, Dungeon Keeper. It's an all-time great game. I like playing it. It's not a typical RTS game, and I'm not usually into RTSs, but I had a good time with this. I found myself getting into the mechanics, and I think the single-player campaign is really good. It also has, it's an older game, but it has a very strong modding community, and I think it's called Keeper FX that I used, and it makes it very close to a modern experience. So I highly recommend it. If you like, it started the whole evil dungeon strategy style game. There's been a lot of spin-offs and spiritual successors to it over the years. I think the first one is still a great experience. I remember this being one of those backseaty series just from random folks showing in, so I kind of backed off playing it too much after that, which is kind of a shame. But no, it's a solid experience, so I get a B. Next up, since you just mentioned it, is
Katana Zero. I'm squeaky. Yeah, this is a really good game.
I wasn't prepared for how violent it was. It's a super violent game. I still highly recommend it. Yeah, the only bummer I remember about this one is that it kind of lined itself up for a sequel or at least some DLC that just never materialized. So the ending was just a bit like, eh. Yeah, there was a lot of voice acting in that one too. So yeah, that one gets a solid 8. All right, but I'm going to try not to talk endlessly about these. Manifold Garden. So yeah, this was I was watching VODs back in this, and that was where I saw Jay in the chat on this one. I figured that was around that time you started watching. Manifold Garden's really good. It's a very abstract puzzle game. There's like no story to speak of in it, but I enjoyed the puzzles. There was a couple things I got stuck on, maybe just one. I was nervous about playing puzzle games on stream. So I was afraid I'd just get hard stuck. Since I got through this one, I've been less anxious about it, and I'm glad because that led to me playing things like Lorelei on stream, which is a great experience, which we'll get to. So yeah, Manifold Garden gets an A. Felt really comfortable. I'm starting to feel more comfortable in my streaming shoes at this point. Next one up, Eco. This is also kind of a hidden classic. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but it's somewhat revolutionary, I guess, just in the way it presents itself. It's basically a long escort quest, but it's not nearly as annoying as that sounds. This is the team that went on to make Shadow of the Colossus, so that gives you an idea. There are some points in this game where I got a little bit frustrated with the combat. I watched Proto Wolf play this like in the last year or so. It was funny listening to Proto have the same frustrations that I did at certain points in the game. Like trying to get across a swinging chain puzzle and being like, wait, you can swing on the chains? Where is that in the instruction? Oh, it's right there. Whoops. Missed that. But yeah, Eco's really a good experience. I don't know, like I said, with those caveats that the combat gets a little bit grindy, like they were still figuring out, the game. But no, that was a really good game. And like it's one of those I think you'll either really get into or just not. I'm glad I stuck all the way through it because yeah, overall it was a really good time. Cuphead. Oh, this is another very clippable game, including this classic one.
Okay, what do I actually hit here? Oh, parry. Okay, good. I did that by accident. I said, what the shit? What the? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay.
This was great because I think this is everyone's experience with this DLC boss.
Okay, I was not prepared for that. Oh, God.
It's because when the plane first flips like 90 degrees, your controls do not adjust accordingly. So you have to press right to go up and left to go down, and then it keeps turning around. It's very disorienting, but Cuphead gives you motion. Oh, that's a shame. That is definitely one of the motion sickness bosses of the whole thing. That's where the ketchup thing came from. But I was glad to play that again. I'm glad I got through it and I beat the DLC boss. So yeah, fun time. That gets an A.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's next? Aviary Attorney. Oh, this was another visual novel game that looked interesting enough to try. And I learned something about myself in visual novel games, as I'm remembering now as I talk constantly through this. Yeah, my throat wears out very quickly if I don't take it easy. So I like this. It got exhausting reading all the stuff on my own as I learned, and why I don't play a lot of these visual novel style games anymore. Also, I remember the story just kind of, it was cool, and it's got all these bird people in it, and I loved the aesthetic and the period that it pulls from. But now the story just got too confusing and repetitive, and I lost interest. So it was fun while it lasted, but it's just average. It's so many of these. I'm getting Freedom Force. This is from Irrational Games in 2004. It's one that I remembered playing long ago, and I was wondering if it held up that well. And the answer is no, it's not. It's not great. It's fine. It's a strategy action game where you play as different superheroes and you can change their stats and give them moves and stuff. It's all very self-aware. It's kind of a parody of like Golden Age comics or Silver Age or whatever age that was. So there's a lot of stereotype stuff in there, but it's like knowing it's kind of mocking, the comics of the area and like the over the top patriotism and stuff like that. So conceptually, it's very interesting. Unfortunately, it was just way too hard to play. It didn't age all that well. So, I get to see. Oh, Lunacid. Okay, sorry. I need another. I'm gonna have to edit this VOD a lot because I'm taking a lot of water breaks. So I first played Lunacid when it was still in beta, or in early access rather, and I really liked it. I played it again later when it was released, but this was the first time. And yeah, it was around for a good while. It was fun. It was a very good tribute to the old like King's Quest, or not King's Quest, King's Field games, and that little genre. So I enjoyed it, but it got a little too grindy for me to enjoy streaming it. So it falls into. It was fun while it lasted, but I probably wouldn't like pick it up on stream again. Might play it again on my own. So that makes it a B. Giant Citizen Kabuto. Oh man, I have some really strong memories of this. It was a really janky game. So this game was from some of the devs that used to be Shiny Entertainment. They split off and made this, while Shiny went on to make Sacrifice. How do I describe this game? It's a third-person shooter. It's asymmetrical. There's like 3 different races that you play, and they tried to make it like an interesting multiplayer experience, as a lot of these like late 90s PC games did. As a result, the balance is a little bit weird. It's still pretty fun. It's one of the few games that has made me unironically laugh out loud because of the humor. It's got a style. This is like a British studio. It's got a style of delivery that was really uncommon in video games and still is. But like there's like overlapping dialogue and the jokes just come very rapidly. And I remember that about it very well. I need to rank this one. This gets a B. I watched the VOD. I had some weird audio issues during this playthrough too, which was kind of a bummer, but that was a good time. Yeah, you might have recommended Lorelei to me. Yeah, you're right about that. Stacklands. This was a cute little game. It's not very long. There wasn't much to it, but it was one of those nice little just chatting streams. It's like a strategy game where you like stack cards together to make new cards, and you like build a village and defeat a dragon. I would recommend it. I don't think it's very expensive. It's a pretty short experience, but I enjoyed my time with it. It was good for a one streamer, so I get to B. Next. I'm overwhelmed by how many buttons I have to run this tier list. I remember. It's this one. Cult of the Lamb. Oh, man. This is a game that I really wanted to enjoy more than I did. It was really big at the time. This was around the time that everyone was streaming this. It was brand new. I think this is a great game for streaming, and they definitely made it with that in mind, where you can make chat your cult, basically. It's a great idea. And I didn't hate my time with it. I enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed like the village building aspects. I appreciate what they were trying to do to get them kind of to mesh together, and that there was tension going back and forth between the different games. And yeah, you can definitely tell that the devs had fun with this. I just went into it with a different set of expectations. Now, I'm a big fan of like roguelikes and roguelites. I felt like there was a lot of stuff in this game, but not a whole lot of depth, at least not as much as I was hoping for. And I need to play this game again now that there's been a lot of DLC since then. Yeah, all I mainly remember about it is that it just didn't hook me in enough to keep playing it on stream, especially when so many other streamers were already playing it. So it's like, am I going to be competing now that people can tell I'm not like super into it? So unfortunately, for the time that I played it, it gets a C at best. I want to try it again though. Indiana Jones: Fate of Atlantis. This is a point-and-click adventure, another one that I had a lot of nostalgia for. It's really good. Now, when I played this as a kid, my PC, I talked about this, I didn't have a sound card. I didn't have the AdLib FM card, so I played these games without sound the first time. And when I played it on stream, that was the first time I got to hear it with all the cool MIDI music and the voice acting. And it was a really great time. So yeah, that gets an A. Yeah, I think, I mean, for a point and click, they're all a little bit janky, but for a LucasArts point and click, yeah, I think it's one of the better ones. Hell, Lexicross. Oh, I think there's a clip of this one
I
too.
can solve this, but I really have no idea what it is. I'm gonna go for an R next. Come on. No! God! Ow! Ow!
Yeah,
Every time!
It's one of those games. This was a game show game that I just played it real quick because I remembered playing it back in the day. So yeah, this game is like a weird mix of Wheel of Fortune and the old Scrabble game show, if anyone remembers that, with Chuck Woolery. So you spin the wheel to get letters, but you have to uncover the letters on the board first, and then all the words are clues to a big puzzle, and then the first person to solve that every round wins. It was fun to play again. I don't think there's a whole lot to it. I was playing against the AI. It's paced weird. It's like those old DOS games where every letter takes like a whole like production. But yeah, it was fun to revisit. I wouldn't play it again, so is a C. Okay, next. Jazz Jackrabbit. I've played this game on a few different occasions on the stream, different parts of the series. So I'm including Jazz Jackrabbit 1, 2, all the Christmas games. I think I've gotten all the entertainment out of this series as I'm ever going to get. So it's interesting from a historic perspective. It's rough to play. So yeah, you're going back on the shelf, Jazz. I played the GBA reboot. No, I didn't even know that was a thing. I only played the DOS ones. Freedom Planet 2. Oh, there's a clip for this.
Oh gosh. I really hope this guy's the last boss of this episode. So I'm gonna be so drained after this fight.
Yeah, that game was tough. I really like it. The main reason I remember this one well is because this was the first game that I played after moving up into my current home, and that's why I sound really echoey in that clip. So yeah, good memories there. I really like the Freedom Planet games. They're pretty tough. It's a very like clear Sonic fan game. In fact, I think it was originally developed as a Sonic fan game, and then they made it its own thing. I do recommend this series. It's not as hard as I was making it. It has some tough bosses in there. Overall, it's balanced pretty well. The dialogue is a little bit cringy in that Sonic way, but it's kind of great, awesome that way. So, I think you'll enjoy it. Where did I? Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I think we gave this one a B. I wish I didn't get the chance to go back to it. It got really tough towards the end, so I can't do any better than that. All right. Oh, Metal Gear Solid. Wow. I never played this game before streaming it. And what do you say? What do you say about this? It's one of those games I was a little bit concerned because so many other people had played it. I wanted to experience it fresh, and I'm glad I got through it. Well, this is gonna be a can of worms, but I just don't think it's a very good game. I'm sorry. It's a spectacle, and I think that's why it's held up over the years. I don't think I'd ever play it again on my own. I actually played, I think I played Metal Gear Solid 2 before I played this one. And like I said, I'm glad I played it so I know where like all the references come from. It has its moments, but it's also, it's so out there in a way that, yes, was amazing for its time, but unless you're really going for that nostalgia, I kept finding things about it that annoyed me more so than things that were nostalgic about it, because I didn't really have any nostalgia for that game either, so that was another thing weighing on me. So yeah, overall, above average experience. I'll give that a B. Can't do any better than that. Next up is Unpacking. This game got me really emotional because I played this after I moved, and I was starting to feel that sense of permanence, which is kind of ironic since now I'm thinking about where I want to move to next. But yeah, it was a really special playthrough. It's a really good game too. It's not long. It was good for a one stream. Yeah, that gets an A. Still remember that one well. Oh yeah, so this must have been my first block of October games, and I played the OG Alone in the Dark, and I hadn't played this one before. I got to do a lot of reading up, because one thing that I wanted to get out of streaming was talking more about like the history, and so playing this game, which in a lot of ways was the progenitor of what we think of as modern survival horror, inspired a lot of Resident Evil. I had to follow a walkthrough. Yeah, I peeked at a walkthrough once or twice, but yeah, it was a very fun thing to walk through and experience, especially as we played the remake a little bit later, which we'll discuss. And following up on that, I played Alone in the Dark 2, which is also a very good game. I just couldn't get through it. It's too damn hard. I walked through a walkthrough and it didn't help. There's a lot more combat in that game. There were like zombie gangsters and shit. So I couldn't get through enough of it. So that gets a C. Oh, Typing of the Dead Overkill. This game was overkill. And I don't remember if anyone was, I don't remember who was watching me play that. It's Typing of the Dead. I like typing games. I didn't know what Overkill was. It's like a modern, like, entry in the Typing of the Dead series. It's very, like, exploitation film coded. There's a lot of really, like, over-the-top humor. It's all very self-aware. It's a trip. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'd put a lot more warnings on the stream if I were going to play anything like that again. But I really liked it. I get an A. All right, next item. I haven't seen Blood Typers. I'm going to write that one down because I want to play more stuff like that. Aliens vs. Predator. There's been a lot of Aliens vs. Predator games. This one is from 1999, and it was one where you could play as the alien or the Predator or the Marines, and I started out playing as the alien because you get to be a little like crab monster, and you got like fisheye vision, and you climb on walls and stuff, and that was kind of the height of experience for me. I didn't want to go play, like, how do you go from that to playing the Marines? Like, you got to go through that whole thing just to get to the Predators. So I kind of thought that might have been one I went back to, but I never did. So it was okay. I think that gave that one a C. That's very good. Dungeon crawler typing game. Was it me? Oh, are you talking about Cryptmaster? Yeah, we're gonna play more of that on Friday. I was really enjoying that one too. The Last Door. This is a pretty light point and click adventure series. But I really liked it. I thought it was paced well. It had some interesting bits. It ended like the ending wasn't super strong, but overall the playthrough I enjoyed it a lot. I don't remember what I ranked it initially. We'll just give it an A. It deserves an A. It was a good time. It had enough weird moments for me to react to. Next up is Clive Barker's Undying. This is a game that probably is better than I gave it a chance of being. It got a little grindy for me in spots. I like the premise. You're like a cult investigator, so you got that trope going. But you're also just kind of like a regular dude. It's like the whole like John Constantine thing, but a lot more low key. So yeah, I wanted to like this one more, but just the combat and just it kept throwing like endless skeletons at me, and I got too frustrated to continue, unfortunately. I would, again, like to give it another try on a day where I'm feeling it, but I wasn't feeling it. On a better note, Little Nightmares. Now, I did play both of these, and I grouped them together. They actually sell them as a collection now, so I thought that was fair. 2 was better than 1, but overall, there was a very good spooky time to be had. There were some stealth parts in the first one that really frustrated me. I almost gave up there, but I'm glad I stuck through it. I know 3 is coming out at some point this year by Supermassive. It was the last studio that I was expecting to work on that. And Tarsier Studios, who worked on the first 2, is working on another kind of horror-ish game like this. I can't remember what it's called, but keep an eye out for that one, because I'd probably like to give that one a try on stream. Oh, I need to rate this one. It's A. Next, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I picked this one up as a joke. It wasn't a great game, but it wasn't as much of a shit show as I thought it would be. And I actually beat it on stream, so I gotta say that's an above average. So thank you, Scooby. Reanimal. Thank you, Harry. I was trying to remember. I had it wish listed or bookmarked or something. Alone in the Dark Illumination. This game is dog shit. But I knew it was dog shit going in, and I wanted to play it and make fun of it. And it gave us some good moments. It was me getting stuck floating in the air, moving around, and a lot of broken ass animations. I didn't get too far in it because it was balanced for, I think, like 4 people to play it, but like who has 3 friends that own this game? Not me. So it's a shit game, but I knew it was a shit game going in, and I got the perfect experience, so it gets a C. It wasn't like a gift that kept on giving. It gave just enough. And that's why you get a C. Next up is Entropy Center. I like this game. This is one of those games that wears its influence on its sleeve, and I'm totally okay with that. It is very much Portal inspired in its tone, if nothing else. As a puzzle game, I thought it was really strong. I thought that the ending was a little bit weird without spoiling too much. I thought that a lot of the humor in it was kind of forced, and it didn't really jive with the overall like setting in a way that I think Portal does a lot more fluidly. So I'll give it a B. I think it's a good game. Okay, so now we're getting into the difficult area where I'm hitting like November, my first year of streaming, and I'm starting to get into some really good series, including Black Mesa. I was a real big fan of the original Half-Life. This was the first time I had played Black Mesa. I had forgotten a lot about the first game, so I got a little bit lost. They didn't change too much about the original game until you get into Zen at the very end. Then it's kind of like, it's a free-for-all. There's some things that they did better about that zone, It just went on and on and on forever. So I remember thinking that was a really great game. I still remember a whole lot else about my playthrough of it specifically. So I was really torn about whether I was going to give this like the first S experience, but it's just brushing up there. But it's got some competition with what's coming up, so I got to give that a really strong A+. Not quite up there. Coming up. Now we're talking. Oh, wait.
He took the sperm that he created here and moved it to the hospital.
It's an awful scientific way of saying he was jerking off in here. This game had a lot of really interesting dialogue. It was actually based on a novel. I read a lot about the history of this. We played this as a Christmas game because it does take place in Christmas. It is technically a Christmas game. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect going into it. It was like kind of an RPG, but it had a lot of real-time elements, and had a lot of like crazy dialogue that I got to voice act a lot. And the game was it was really good. I kind of flubbed the last boss. It did a thing where the last sequence was a gauntlet, and if you died, you had to do the final 4-phase boss all over again. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't make myself do it again, so I kind of just said, yay, I win. But like, overall, that was... it was such a fun time because I had so many like dialogue moments like that. And the game itself was really good. And that will now and forever be one of my all-time favorite playthroughs. So that gets the first S rank. We're finally filling out that top row. It's been almost a year of streams. The author hated the game, so whenever how many? I know there was a second one. Was there one after that? I'm blanking. I don't remember anymore. I kind of do want to try the second one. I keep saying I want to play all these games. I have no idea when or if, but it's on my radar at least. Next up, Yuletide Legends, Who Framed Santa Claus. So I got this weird idea in my head that I would play one of those hidden object games as kind of a holiday thing. And this is probably the peak of that experience. Who Framed Santa Claus was pretty funny. Another S, I wanted to. It had the I'm Santa moment, which cracks me up every time. And it had like the squirrel doppelganger and the weird like stretchy textures. Had a lot of things I remember about it, but the game, there's nothing at all about the game itself. And I got to a point, I've been playing it for like 3 hours, and I realized I was like halfway through, and I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done. That's a B. It was good. I think we're done with hidden object games, though, as you'll find out why here. The Grinch. The Grinch. Everyone loves The Grinch, right? For the PlayStation 1. That's one of those games I knew everyone had... Well, I knew a lot of people had already streamed this, so I was like, well, we'll just give it a try. It's crap. It wasn't even entertaining crap. It's just kind of generic crap. So, yeah. It's one of those, I think, everyone has to play once, just to remember what crap it is. Next is Cthulhu Saves Christmas. This is actually a sequel to Cthulhu Saves the World. It's a very quirky JRPG style game with where you join up with a lot of other who are those? I don't remember who all the characters were. There's a bunch of Christmas related folks, and you just go and save Christmas in the universe. And Cthulhu is like this staring, I'm evil, and why won't anyone take me seriously? Kind of thing. It was all very funny, and I enjoyed my time with it. It for some reason decided to do a thing where it got halfway through and then you had to like play it over again. It's the Bravely Default shit, and I don't think you can get away with that in a game like this. Like, relying on like the good humor, I think there's limits to it. And when you start getting into like the actual grindy mechanics, it's like, yeah, I must be the greatest villain of all time. Yes, it is. I think it had some interesting like JRPG mechanics. I'd had enough at that point. I was like, I've been playing this for like 3 streams and I'm only halfway through. I can't do this anymore. So unfortunately, it was a fun time, but it wore out its welcome. So Cthulhu gets a C. Okay. Moly Christmas is an old like Amstrad game. It's a sequel to Monty on the Run, which is kind of a classic, but wasn't great for streaming. And I did like a whole series of like really short, crappy games. And this one, I mean, it's not crap, but it didn't age all that great. It's a game from like 1983 or whatever. So I didn't get too much mileage out of that one. I don't know what I was thinking. I went through a streak of let's play some weird, really bizarre like Steam Christmas games where I was just going through the list of Steam games that were Christmas related, and I found Orange Santa. I don't remember a thing about this. It was made by one developer who was not native English speaker, which it's fine. And I remember mentioning this during the playthrough. Like, I really want to like promote the fact that someone made a game and put it out there because that's amazing, no matter what it is. And they clearly were totally 100% in on the concept. They were absolutely sold that this was what they wanted to do. And I have a lot of respect for that, but it's still a crap game, so it gets a D. Sorry. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. This was like a Doom clone that was just shit. And I mean, it's what I was trying to get out of it, but like I just remember thinking like, okay, just get me through this so I can play a real game. We're almost through the first year of streams. Game, chat, game, fuck. I'm tired. Die Hard Trilogy for the PlayStation 1. I was like, it's my first Christmas stream. Let's play a Die Hard game, and I read good things about this one, and I wanted to like it. It's just too fucking hard. This is another, I clipped this like, or I had a clip, I don't know if I still have it, but it was me, it might still be on Twitch somewhere, of me playing like the rail shooter section and trying to figure out how to reload my, it was the how do I thing clip. Sorry, I just got so flustered I was just saying words, hoping that it would help. But yeah, this December sucked for games. Everything was a disappointment. So sorry about that, belatedly. Anyway, it's a new year, new goals. I started 2023. I couldn't find a screenshot of this, so I just clipped the website. I wanted to get into randomizers, and I just picked this one because it looked weird enough to be fun. And I don't think this is a good pick for a first randomizer if you're just getting into them. It's a little too intricate. I was a big fan of both of those games. I thought they would kind of gel together, but I didn't get too far in it. So I tried other randomizers later, but that one is maybe another time when I know what I'm doing. Oh, Spear and the Mouse. I think Gunnar actually gifted this game to me to play, and yeah, it's like a super cozy time where you're a little mousy and you have you're just a regular mouse. You don't talk, but you have other talking friends. And I don't remember a whole lot about the game. There was like a lightning spirit, and I just had to light up a lot of things. I remember it being very cute and cozy, but I don't think there was
very much to the game at all. Oh, hi, Darthwing. Thank you for shrinking my head. So, yeah, unfortunately, I can't give my own stream of it more than a C.
It's a cute game, though. I would recommend it if you're just looking for like a cute, cozy game. It's like, what's that newer one? Little Kitty in the Big City. I feel like it's got the same vibes as that. Which I also hear that about that game. I think there's a very certain audience for that sort of game. And it's pretty good in that. Stray is like, I haven't played Stray myself. But yeah, it's like an experience. I think it's, yeah, Little Kitty Big City, I think is kind of a different vibe than Stray is, but same general idea. You didn't miss a lot. We played all the crappy Christmas games. You're back just in time for the Mega Man Damage Shuffler. Sorry, I'm going to have a sip. Oh, God, what is that music? I'm coming up on the end of my... I'm going to have to find a new playlist because this is going on longer than I thought it would. Yeah, so... there's a thing called a hit damage shuffler where every time you get hit in a game, it kicks you into another game. There's other variations on these shufflers, and I think I saw Rad play this first, and I was like, I want to give that a try, but I want to do it with just like the first 6 NES games because those are the only ones that I was really kind of familiar with. And yeah, it was a good time, but I don't think I put on a good display of Mega Manning. Like, that's a lot harder than it looks. I got through maybe 1 or 2 games, and after 3.5 hours, like, okay, I'm never going to do this. Never going to get through this. So I tried that on stream a couple times. I probably won't go back to it, but it was good for a little bit while it lasted, so that gets to be. And Overload. This is a modern Descent kind of spiritual successor. It's still out there. I had fun with it. It got a little tough. It wasn't a whole lot to it. It's if you like classic Descent action, it's pretty much that. It looks very good. Again, it was one of those games where I said, I'll play this on my own, and then I never got the time. Some games, I played a lot of games like this where I was like, I don't think I can get any more streaming value out of this, because like I'm into it, but I don't know if my audience is. So there's quite a lot of that on the list. So Overload, did I give that a B? I give that a B. Mainly, if it's like a really good game, it gets bumped from a C to a B. Dicey Dungeons. This is a game from Terry Kavanagh, who made another one of my favorite games, VVVVVV, and with music by Chipzel, who also did music for that game. I like this game. It's a roguelike dice game. It's as dicey games go, I thought this one had pretty good mechanics. We'll see other games down on the list that do similar things, but yeah, I could vibe with this. I don't know if I would stream it again, but again, yeah, it's a really solid game. Music awesome, and I think people enjoyed watching that, so that gets an A in my book. So we're still in early 23. Does it cheat? Doesn't surprise me. And speaking of, this was actually, I don't have a clip of this, but this is VVVVVV. It's one of my favorite games. It was a pretty short game. I'd played it a lot before. It's so old. It's hard to think that this game is 14 years old now. But I played this as part of my first Streamiversary stream. Because back in those days, I wasn't taking 2 or 3 months off in between Christmas and whenever I streamed again. And I hope I don't have to keep doing that. That's the way things have shaken out. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this one. Music, I keep forgetting the names of they all start with V, but the music with the level where you're like bouncing in between the wires, that's, I heard that, Sushi was playing that on his stream earlier today while he was playing Power Wash, and I was like, yes, it's my favorite song. All right, so B gets an A. A. Pressure cooker, yeah. Oh, that's right. They were the P names. That's right. And this was part of that same celebration stream. I played Day of the Tentacle, classic point and click, LucasArts sequel to Maniac Mansion, which is, I think I played a little bit of that too, but that game is really hard. Day of the Tentacle is great. It had some other bits of it that I think I get kind of stuck in, but that. It's I don't know what to say about it. Go play it. It's tentacleicious. All right. I never got all the trinkets. Oh yeah, I did. It took me a while. I've never like gotten Veni Vidi Vici in one go, but I did eventually get them. That's definitely another. Okay, you know what? I really appreciate that feedback. If anyone sees any, y'all remember these streams a lot better than I do. I'm gonna write Day of the Tentacle, because I don't remember a thing about my actual playthrough of that, but I do have the VODs of these. Like in the rare case where there were a handful of VODs where I lost a lot of the game audio, but that wasn't one of them. That was a little bit later down the list. All right, what's next? Vampires. I already clicked the thing. I'm gonna skim through these. It's a B. I was playing a bunch of Survivor games on stream because I hadn't played it before, or I'd played a little bit, and yeah, it's fine. I have the point where Vampire Survivors just got. I unlocked so many things that the game just wasn't much of a challenge anymore, so I kind of lost interest in it. I know there's been a bunch of DLC since then, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the kind of thing I get back into. Soulstone Survivors. This is, again, another game I really wanted to like. It looks great. It plays great. It gives you more... a lot of games in the Survivor genre were starting to give you more control, like, over, like, where you, like, shoot things using other buttons, which I think is good. The thing that drove me nuts about this one, and it may be different now since there have been like other balance patches, but in these Survivor games, you collect gems and then you get upgrades. So you'll collect gems for like maybe like 20, 30 seconds at a time, and then the game will stop while you pick your upgrade. And in Soulstone Survivors, it felt like you were picking an upgrade like every 5 seconds. And it just kept grinding everything to a halt. I don't know if I was doing it wrong. I don't think I would be, because if I'm collecting gems and getting upgrades, I'm doing the right thing, right? So I don't know if I ever gave them that feedback, but I couldn't get into that one at the time. So I gave that one a D. And the last one is Project Lazarus, which is a game that I still play from time to time. It's a much slower paced Survivors game. You play as a giant robot with aliens and stuff coming at you. You have a lot of control over where you shoot things. You have a lot of different hard points on your ship, so there's different categories of weapons. It's a little bit more of a chill time, I would say, but that's the kind of thing that I get in the mood for, rather than just the the huge, just constant barrage of just nonsense that Vampire Survivors throws at you. So that was an above average experience. Okay, so this is Rockman and Forte. This is another one of my favorite Mega Man games. I couldn't find the original box art. I didn't play the Wonder Swan version. I played the Super Famicom one. I still really like this game. It's known as like one of the really hard ones in the series, but I think I just have nostalgia over discovering that this game existed and playing it and being like, oh, wow, this is kind of a hidden gem. Yeah. I probably just tolerated more of it because I had good memories of it, but, yeah, playing as Mega Man, there are some tricky parts, and maybe it's just because I know those parts that I tolerate them, but, I'm glad I played it all the way through on stream, just to say that I did. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much more to say about it. I give it a B. All right, water break. I'm gonna drink. I'm not gonna take a full break here. Chat, I'm not even halfway through the list. I gotta do this. Super Stardust. So I played 3 games from the studio, Housemarque. They made Super Stardust HD. I played a ton of this, both on the PSP, or was it the PSP or the Vita? One of those two. And they had a PS4 port, which I really like. If you like twin stick shooters, Housemarque does a ton of those, and they do them well. So I think they still sell this for the PS4, 5. I like it. So it's a B, I think. Yeah. So I was playing a trio of Housemarque games because I think Returnal had just come out on the PC. So I was revisiting some of those. And the next one I played was Nex Machina, which is a similar twin stick shooter. It was a more recent one. It's fine. I I don't like it more than Super Stardust, so I can't give it more than a C. It's still fun though. Very hectic. I love the heck out of Returnal. I don't think anyone really watched too much of it. It's a tough game. It's a really, really hard game. But if you are willing to put yourself through it, it's got a great story. It's got a great atmosphere. I think there's gonna be more variety in weapons. And by the time I'd gotten to it, this is a problem with all roguelikes. It's like someone is gonna come in knowing everything about this game and how to like unlock all the stuff. And I'm just playing this to just wander lost and afraid through the dark woods. That's what I was getting out of it. But it's still one of my favorite games. I like it. I just don't know if it's a great streaming experience, so we give it a B. Okay. Oh, shit. This is gonna be gross.
Realistic one?
Warning.
Where they just got people around the office to do the voices and stuff.
This whole game is disgusting.
Oh, God. I'm a kitty snack.
Yep. So, yeah. You play as a roach. It's like a whole metamorphosis thing. This is a mid-90s PC game. I talked a lot about this while I was playing it, but there's a period in the 90s where no one knew what the fuck games were gonna be. So publishers would just let devs make whatever shit they wanted. And it was a really like experimental and fun time that I don't think we're ever gonna see again. So I have fond memories of this whole era. Even though it wasn't a bad game. It was a really solid game. I think it had issues with tone. There were some really, it was like a lot of like gritty, serious moments, but there were also like with some really wacky jokes. So it didn't come together all the way through. But it was still a super memorable experience, and I'm glad I did it. So that gets an A. All right, next up, pizza. Oh God,
Cheese.
ow! There's so much cheese. Oh God, this song. Well, it's your dances if you have them. I like Pizza Tower. I didn't like it enough to really commit to it. I think, yeah, it's one of those games that you just play it like all the time. I couldn't get into it quite that much, so. It was okay. I have Anton Blast actually, and I was playing a bit of that. I don't think I'll get into that one either. I do like the bit of it that I've been playing though. Oh, Outcast. This was one of those historic picks in that this game kind of was a big deal back in the PC days in that it was like an open world adventure. But boy, it did not age well. It does that thing where, like, the different species of aliens are just different nationalities of Earthlings. It's just barely masked racism, which grated on me. Also, the game just wasn't that good, so I think I have to give that one a D. Sorry. Oh, this is a whole. You know, I haven't heard the whole version of this song very often. It doesn't come up. I don't play a lot of Pokemon either. I think it's from Pokemon, right? I'm gonna talk it out my ass right now. All right, what's next? Metroid Prime Remastered. This game was great. I had not played Metroid Prime all the way through. I'm a huge Super Metroid fan. I really like this one. I played it. When did I? Oh yeah, I played it on stream, but I didn't finish it on stream. And in hindsight, I really wish I had. But I started getting self-conscious about feeling that I was just kind of wandering around, not doing a whole lot, especially with a game that a lot of people have already played. So I wish I stuck with it because I said this before. I feel like this Metroid game was to the GameCube as Super Metroid was to the SNES, and they were just that like strong experiences and just like pushing the medium. So glad I played it. I did eventually finish it off stream, I think that a lot of people assumed that they were gonna redo like Prime 2 and 3, but I don't think that ever came to fruition. But they're working on Prime 4, so maybe I'll try that one at some point. So, yeah, I really like the game, but I didn't finish it, so I gotta give it a B. And again, I felt like I was just walking simulatoring a lot of it. It was just my fault. Next up, Mark of the Ninja. I had played this one before. I like this game a lot. It's a 2D stealth game from Clay, and it's got that look that a lot of those games have. So I got to replay this one and talk about it. It was fun. It wasn't... it's if you like 2D stealth games, I definitely recommend that one. I don't remember a whole lot about the playthrough, so I give that above average. It's crazy they didn't remaster. Yeah, I guess they just, I don't know, they stopped throwing money. They're still remaking Sands of Time, apparently. Yeah, we've already put Bad Rats on the F tier. There's a few more that are probably going to make it too. Yoshi's Woolly World. So I had a Wii U for a while. I don't have that many games on it still that I still have. But I had this one, and I really like it. It was like a super chill stream where I just got to like talk about what was on my mind. It's like the middle of the year, and I kind of winding down from the Streamiversary stuff. So yeah, I think very fondly of this. I haven't played the Switch one, but it's kind of wistful to think there's these handful of Wii U games that probably no one will ever play because no one had a Wii U. But Yoshi's Woolly World, excellent, excellent. Okay, we're getting into almost halfway through the list. I gotta keep my promise and zoom through these because I'm never gonna make it through here. No, Yoshi doesn't belong in the toilet. Yoshi, we love Yoshi. All right. Inherit the Earth, quest for the orb. Oh, here's some of it.
Every one of these buildings, they were all locked. That's why I just gave up at some point.
Yay! May I show you some of my glass items?
Ooh, okay. No. Never show me your glass items. I hate glass items. Don't ever show me them.
I just went through these VODs and found the first interesting thing I found. I just clipped it, so that's that. Inherit the Earth, quest for the orb was a tragically unfinished point-and-click game from some like really OG furry artists from back in the early 90s. They just couldn't get the publisher on board with it, so it was kind of a mess towards the end. But I'm glad I played it because it was such a you won't find too much stuff like this from back in the day. Excuse me. I remember the series really well because I think this was the first really big raid that I ever got from anyone for like 100 plus. And it was from Cinder Collie, actually. And I watched the VOD and I went back to that moment. I was like, oh, right. That was the first time I got raided because Cinder I assumed that I was somebody, which is how anybody gets to be anybody. So I'm very appreciative of that. So, yeah, it was just such a weird mess of a game, but I still think fondly of it. So I think it's a B. Oh, God, you guys remember so much more of my own streams than I do. And I can't tell you what that means to me. It's really, thank you so much. I gotta get through this. There's gonna be long stretches of like one-off things that I won't have much to say about. I'm gonna take a little break here coming up soon because I'm already almost halfway through the list. Star Control 2, absolute classic. I hated playing it. It was another super backseaty game. The game itself was great. I actually played the first two Star Control games. It got to, like, again, one of the alien races being a really ugly racial stereotype, and like I just want to get past this part, and now I was worried about what the rest of the game is like. I really got to vet some of these older games better. It was a lesson I learned. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a great game. There's actually a free version of it called the Urquan Master. So if you want to play this, it's free. I recommend it. It just, as a stream game, it's too annoying in my head, to revisit. So I think it's a D. Tooth and Tail, furry RTS gamepad game. I played this on and off over the years. I really like it. It had a really strong, actually, for a tiny game, it had a strong like PvP community. I don't think it does anymore, but it's still got art from this artist who I really love, and I don't know how to pronounce their name, but I'm really embarrassed about it. I think their first name is Jerome, and their last name is spelled Jacinto, but I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, because I don't know if the J is like a H or a J, and I feel silly. I need to ask someone that. Just, I love their art. I love your art. That's all I wanted to say. So, I think it's a B. Dungeons of Aether, another Aether spin-off. This was a roguelike dice game, which I played a few of over the years, and I love the character design. It's very like pixel style, like the first Rivals of Aether game. The gameplay just didn't grab me. It was a little too mathy, and I wanted to like it, but I couldn't get into it, so I had to give that a D. I don't know if I'll revisit that one or not. But there's plenty of Rivals content out there still, thankfully. Yep, I'm gonna take a drink here in a sec. Have a stretch. I need to take a few minute break and get some more water. I seriously am almost halfway through the list. Mini Metro and Mini Motorways are two similar games that I played together. So I was playing just like chill city builders, and I don't have a lot to say about this one, except I think I enjoyed it. It was a nice chill time, so it gets a B. Same thing for Dwarf Romantic, a tile placing game. There's not too much gameplay to it, but it was a nice chill tile placing time, so that also gets a B. Where am I in the list? Oh, I played Skyrim. This was where I was going through a stretch where I just wanted to ruin a game with mods. So I had like a door randomizer. I had the auto-tuned bear mod, and the ones where the wolves swear at you. Or no, it was the crabs. I don't remember. The swearing crabs or the wolves. I don't remember which one it was. I had a mess. It was a mess of a time. It was fun. I want to prep more for that sort of thing if I ever do it again in the future. But I thought it was a pretty fun time. I would never play vanilla Skyrim on stream. It was the bears. Just their growls were auto-tuned. Yeah, that's true, Harry. That's true. Teardown. This is a really interesting game. It's a voxel-based like caper simulator, and you have to plot out your escape route and smash things. It's not at all what I was expecting, and I think that's why I didn't stick with it, but it's definitely interesting. It's a really strong game. I didn't like it as much as I thought it would, so it gets a C. SimCity 2000. I had a lot of fun with this. This was another like game where I wanted to talk about like sim game history, so I got a lot of that done. And I played the first SimCity, which was kind of a mess, but it was fine for me demonstrating it. And then we played this one, and this game actually held up better than I thought it would. But yeah, it was an absolute classic. I would play that again on my own time. That gets an A. Oh, next item. And then I'm going to take a break. Celeste. Y'all know Celeste. It's one of the best games ever made. I played as much of Celeste as I could before I started hating it because it gets really, really hard. I did I think I did a fair bit of the B-sides, and then I decided I'll hang it up, watch other people play it. Yeah, game hurts my hand. It wears about my wrist. So I haven't done Farewell yet. I don't know if I ever will. Yeah, I think I'm retired from Celeste, but I'm glad I got to play it on stream. I think that's where, I think that was like one of the first streams that Kaji stopped in, because it was going back a while. All right. Yep, Celeste, it gets an A. It's great. Go play it. Let's try Beneath the Steel Sky, another point-and-click adventure that is also kind of a classic, but I never tried it before, so I just jumped right into it, and yeah, really, really good. It's some kind of sketchy parts, And another classic clip moment where I get punched by the android after the game had just been like finding the most elaborate ways to kill me in death scenes, and then this guy just comes up and knocks me out. And that made me laugh a lot. I've been playing that game for like 5 hours and my brain was shot, and when that happened, I just lost it. So another classic clip moment. Yeah, really, really good. I know there's been sequels to it. I haven't tried. Original, it's I don't know if I'd say it holds up super well, but it's definitely a unique experience. So that gets an A. Next up is Dredge. I friggin' love Dredge, and it's another game that I wish I'd stuck with and finished on stream. I finished it off stream. I just wasn't sure that there was that much to it. A lot of people were streaming it, and again, I was just more self-conscious about that sort of thing. Like, am I keeping interest? So I finished that off stream. It's still a really good game. I highly recommend it. It's like a chill, spooky time, and I really like that sort of thing. So that gets a B for me. A B mainly because I didn't finish it like I should have. Same thing with Metroid Prime. What I wish is the DLC was worth getting after you. Oh, yeah, that was... I didn't get the DLC either. I feel like I got the full experience with the base game. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. This game just got an HD remaster, and I've got that one on my wish list too that I might try. I was really getting into this game, and then it got like super hard, and also the graphics were super dark. I have the PS1 version that I was playing, and the game got so dark that I couldn't figure out what I was doing, and I felt like I was flailing around, so I had to give up on it, which is a bummer. So again, my stream was, I have to give it a C, but I want to try that game again with the upgraded graphics. Oh, Star Tropics. Now, I don't know.
Remember, you have to say abracadabra or it won't work, okay? Everyone say it with me. Abracadabra.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Abracadabrador.
See, you were there for that, Jay.
See, ow.
Cheese.
Still had the cheese. Oh, God.
Cheese.
Oh, the double cheesing. How did you know? Star Tropics is a weird-ass game that I played a lot of as a kid. And, yeah, I really loved streaming it again. I loved wearing the banana shirt. I also got to talk a little bit about the history of Nintendo and their war against copying game manuals. And we got into a whole, like, discussion about just how how awful Nintendo was as a company, and still is, which we kind of forget about nowadays. But that discussion kind of built up from, like, the history of like music rental and video game rental in Japan, and how just how different the scene was on our side. And we got to talk about, yeah, dipping the letter in water. That was their whole thing. But that stream was a culmination of everything that I wanted to do as a streamer. I wanted to play games that I was excited about and talk about the history. We had a lot of I watched some of the VOD back, and we had a lot of really good discussions about that. So I don't know how many people were actually watching that stream, but like I said, as an example of everything that I want to do as a streamer, I think it's at the top there, and that's why Star Tropics, of all things, goes on the S tier. It's the second S tier game. We're finally filling out that row, next to Parasite Eve. But yes, Star Tropics, what a interesting game. It's very interesting. We'll leave it at that. Dinopunk was as another one of those games where you fix things, and I was so bummed out about Fix Fox, I thought I'd try this one. It was too like visual novel romancy type stuff. It just kept going on. I only played the demo of it. It's just like, I want less story and more fixing shit. it's Cyberpunk. Let me mess around with the decks and stuff. So I didn't enjoy that one as much. The full game is out. It wasn't my thing, unfortunately. All right. Speaking of ImSim's Thief, I'm just determined to play all of the Looking Glass games on stream, but I played Thief back in the day. It's one of my all-time faves, and I got to meet a lot of other streamers in the Thief community through that. So I made a lot of good friends through that. So I have some good memories there. I think the one thing that dulled the experience for me is that I played the original Thief back in the day, and now kind of the only version of that you can play now is the Thief Gold that has the extra levels in it. And I was not feeling the extra levels. I feel like they just went on for too long, which kind of accentuated the problem with some of the original levels. It was just stretching it out a bit too much for a game that already had a fair bit of padding in it. So for that reason, I can't put it at the very tip top. But again, yeah, it's right. It's sitting right there. It's an A. Peglin. Peglin is Peglin. You know Peglin. You play Peglin when you don't have anything else to play. It's fine. It's not really. It's like a just chatting with extra steps kind of game. It's fine for that. I don't know what I was thinking here. I must have watched someone else play this and like, I'll give this a try. It's one of those funny, weird games that you think you're going to make fun of, and then you get into it and you're like, holy shit, I got to make these smoothies. Help. So yeah, it was a good time. I don't know if I'll play it again. Okay, Minty Year Round. Here we go. Here's Loop Hero. One of your favorites and came recommended to me. I like Loop Hero a lot. This is one of those games I'm just going to have to play more of off stream. My big beef with this game is that I think it requires a fair bit of grinding to get to where you feel you're not just playing against like RNG, and that's what I felt I was doing there. It probably hits a point where it doesn't feel that way, but while I was playing it on stream, yeah, it's just like, I want to like this, but I keep getting all the way to the boss and then getting flattened. So I'll give that one another try someday. I like the game, but as an extreme experience, it Lubbo HBO. Funny letter placement. All right. Okay. This one requires some explanation. Let me take a sip. So, around the time that this is 23, right? So Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom had just come out, and I knew I didn't want to play Tears of the Kingdom out of the gate, so I thought I'll just play some of the OG Zeldas because those are the first ones that I ever played. And I started off with like some assorted ROM hacks. This was like a roguelike ROM hack where you just like God, how do I describe it? I don't remember too much about it except that it was like a randomized dungeon thing, except for OG Zelda. I thought it was pretty cool. And then I got into some of the other like ROM hacks that were just like different versions of the first Zelda. It was fun. It probably wasn't that entertaining to watch just because I didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, it wasn't a super great experience. So I followed that up. I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to play the original Zelda. I played Zelda 1, first and second quest, and Zelda 2 on stream. And yeah, I know those early NES games are a little contentious. It's hard for me to say just because they're so ingrained in my mind that when people say this is a mess, I don't know how to get into it. I gotta take your word for that because I had all the invaluable maps and strategic playing tips that came with the original game. So maybe I just had a leg up on that. All right. Chad, that was game 101. We are officially over halfway through the list. No one can stop Mr. Domino. No, they certainly can't. This is a weird-ass game that's kind of a classic what the fuck kind of game among PlayStation collectors. Was there a reference to this in the new Astrobot game? I've heard there. I haven't played that one yet either. It's not great, but it was an interesting experience, and I'm glad I tried it. It's really hard, though. Burnout Paradise. Speaking of, same thing with Burnout 3. It's like, I played this before. It's cars, driving around. You play it when you just want to drive around and talk about cars. It's exactly what you need if you want that. Lunasis. Oh, chat. Did you know that DLC for Lunasis is coming out soon? I'm gonna shout out. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna shout out Deke. Deke is been sharing some screenshot. Wait, no, it's exclamation SO Deke. Oh, I can't do it unless they're in chat. Okay. Go check out Deek's Twitch stream, and also check out Ludicrous, because it's a really good game. It's very like Sega Saturn style graphics. It flows really well. It's kind of a made for speedrunning type game, but you can enjoy it on its own as a casual platformer. And I highly recommend it. I'm super eager to try the DLC. So yeah, it was a really fun streaming time, and I hope to see more of that. Jump King. Oh man. I don't know why I got an itch to play Jump King of all things. I was like, I'm a streamer, I gotta play the really hard games at least once. And you know what? I like Jump King. It was frustrating, but it wasn't frustrating in the way that Getting Over It was, in that I think Jump King was designed to be an actual game, more so than Getting Over It was. So, yeah, I actually made some progress in Jump King. Not a whole lot. Speaking of which, it's Getting Over It. I've never been able to get past the orange cliffs, so I'm like, okay, I'm moving on with my life. It's not a game, we get it. When are you releasing Baby Steps so I can play that? Okay, the new System Shock. This is the re-release, or the remake? Reboot? I don't know, I never remember which one is which. This is a new one. It's really, really good. I'd say, if you're going to do a remake of the classic old game like System Shock, Night Dive really knocked it out of the park with this one. There was some controversy because it took like 10-ish years to make, and they were thinking they took the money and ran after the Kickstarter. But they did it. They switched engines to, I think, from Unity to Unreal, and they came out with a thing that very much held on to the spirit and structure of the original, while adding and removing some things that just made the whole experience very good. So, System Shock. I'm trying to think of like things about my playthrough of it. I just remember I really liked it, and I had a lot of stuff to talk about, and I get to meet other System Shock players. So I think that one also goes right on the top with Star Tropics and Parasite Eve. Have you seen the Jump King multiplayer? I had no idea that was a thing, and it's actually out. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to play that or not. Maybe if I find some friends.
Alright, next up. You squeeze my head when I'm trying to find a break. And I can talk and say funny shit. That's okay.
That's okay. Next up. We love Katamari. Oh, there's a clip for this one too.
No, where's the exit? Oh, I'm not rolling up cranes. Always ABC, always be craning. Always be chicken. Always beware chicken.
Yeah. Me having fun just saying random shit. I remember that, I remember that playthrough. I only did it for a couple streams, but that was back when I was making like silly hats and outfits. And I want to get back to that, but I need one more design pass on this model first. So we love Katamari. Like, I like the Katamari games. I don't like the bear and cow levels very much, and they fortunately threw that one in there. What did I give this one? Sorry, I'm trying to find it on my list. Okay. Yeah, I gotta give this one an A. Just for the outfit alone, it deserves an A. Because I remember, like, other streamers I didn't even know paid attention to me were like, oh, I love that outfit, that silly outfit you did for the Katamari. Like, oh, thank you. That's why I want to get back to that sort of thing. Because that's the shit people remember. Slayers X, Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of the Slayer. This is a weird-ass game. It's a, I really hate the term boomer shooter, but let's be honest, that's what it is. It's a, very, like, I don't know how to describe it. And unfortunately, this is a game that I really wish I had played Hypnospace Outlaw before I played this, but I don't think I realized that this game was a spin-off of Hypnospace Outlaw until I started playing it and people were like, oh, have you played Hypnospace Outlaw? And I was like, should I have? And like, you don't have to. It's like a very like early 90s sense of humor, but it was made recently, so it's in the style, not early 90s, you know, like the GeoCities era the web, which is what Hypnospace Outlaw is a big send up of. I don't know if I'm tempted to play Hypnospace Outlaw on stream, but I don't know. It's like, that's a hard game to experience for the first time in front of a lot of other people. The only context is the character in Hypnospace. But yeah, well, I guess what I'm saying is, I wish I played Hypnospace Outlaw because Hypnospace Outlaw is a really good game. Let's put it that way. So Slayers X, it gets a B. The humor started wearing thin, but overall it's a really good game as a shooter. Oh, Mind Rover. Another case of a game that I remembered playing back in the day, and I wondered if it held up well, and it didn't. That's the kind of game I would have to play a lot off stream to get prepped for, but I didn't do that, so the stream itself, I quit playing it after an hour just because I couldn't get through it, so maybe another day when I'm better at it, because I want to give that game a fair shake. It's one of those educational robot building games, which I'm way into. It is better in principle than practice. Trombone Champ. Everyone loves Trombone Champ. Trombone Champ's one of those games I can play anytime and it'll be funny, but I couldn't play it like a lot, so we'll go back to that at some point. They keep adding new stuff to it too. Good on you. Starship Titanic. Another nostalgia game. As a adventure game, it's really not good. It was like one of the last things that Douglas Adams worked on, and he's actually in the game. I mainly played this one for sentimental reasons, just because Douglas Adams died way too young and gave us so much good stuff. So I was willing to look past some of the rough edges of this game. It's a hard one to recommend, but still have a lot of good memories. So that one gets B. Voidigo, another game I really wanted to like. I was looking for something that would scratch that Enter the Gungeon itch because I had played that one to death and they just released the last DLC for it. And I think Voidigo is a really good game. I couldn't dig my hooks into it, and I think the stream was like largely forgettable. So go give that game a look if you're into like Gungeon style games. But I'll have to give it another try at some point. Yeah. He worked on a lot of like Douglas Adams worked on like a lot of multimedia stuff. Oh, by the way, chat, want to guess what this game is going to be ranked? The game that I made like 4 YouTube videos of, and that is the only thing on my YouTube channel basically. Quantum Break, you get an S tier. You absolute glorious train wreck of a game. So Quantum Break is in the Remedy verse, and I hadn't played it before. I hadn't played any of the Remedy games before. I just thought, here's another like cheesy sci-fi adventure that takes itself way too seriously. And boy, that was a game that just kept on giving. Something about playing that just woke up my riffing engine, and I thought, well, if I really like built up my confidence as a streamer, just finding like weird ass jokes to make. Oh, by the way, check out my YouTube channel down there if you want to see me just tearing this game apart left and right. I'd say like definitely one of exemplary stream series. For nothing else, no other reason than it gave me an excuse to do a bunch of goofy ass video edits, which I really enjoyed doing. That stuff takes up so much time. I wish I could do it more, but I can't. So you can see most of that playthrough up there. It's enjoyable. It's a shit show, but it's an enjoyable shit show. All right. Oh, Mars First Logistics. Speaking of robot building games, I kind of picked this one up randomly, and it ended up being a really good stream to both use my brain and be chill and chat about stuff. So yeah, it's one of those games I think I'll go back to intermittently, and I'll probably play it more off stream. It's still in early access. I'll probably play it more off stream and get more like robot parts, so I have more interesting things to build. It's like you can do the buildy stuff, and then while you're driving your wacky vehicle to where it's going, you can relax and chat a bit. It's the right balance of things for that kind of like vibey stream that I like. Oh yes, the apples, except for the apple part. I got to play that up because they fixed the thing with the arrows pointing the wrong way too. That's better in the new update. So that gets an A. Oh fuck me, Omicron the Nomad Soul.
Kick. Kick. I only know this one move. Kick. Oh, the roundhouse kick. That's like my only good move. It's like, oh man, no, back kick one. Oh shit. Oh, if I had to do this again, I swear to God.
I didn't have to do it again. So it's one of those games where if you die, you just get sucked into a new body and you just continue on. Yeah, first game from Quantic Dream, David Cage's studio. It's a fighting game. It's a first-person shooter. It's an adventure game. It's 3 bad games in one. Yeah, that's what it is. You know what? I'm giving my... I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it on the list. It's David Bowie. It's a real mess of a game that I can't recommend to anyone, but I'm giving myself a B just for the fact that I got through it at all. I had to cheese it at the end, but you know what? It counts. It counts. Solar Jet Man. I had fond memories of this, but it really didn't work as a stream game. It was too hard. There wasn't any music to it or sound. I got frustrated a lot. I think I was just in a bad mood when I played this. I don't know why I remember that distinctly. It's a good game. It's like a rare game in the NES era. They were in that period before they started making shit like Nightmare on Elm Street. They were still on top of their game. And Solar Jet Man was really good. It just wasn't a great stream. By the same token, I lumped that together with Subterranea, which is another hidden gravity-based shooter game, and it's really, really friggin' hard. So it was cool to revisit for a little bit, but again, it was kind of lumped in that same stream where I just wasn't feeling it, so yeah. Some gems should stay hidden. All right, getting to some really difficult territory here. I must have been just not in a great mood in general in this period. So, Suna Regalia. I recommend it. It's a really good game. It very much adheres to the aesthetic that it's going for, which is like N64 era graphics. It's very like parkour based. I feel like I got a little bit frustrated at how tightly it adhered to like the visuals and the controls, because originally it didn't have a map to it, and I kept getting lost, and I think that was a common complaint about it. They did add a map to it at some point. I think it's one developer who did it. So I must have left a negative review on Steam, and that's when I learned a hard lesson about how seriously people take negative Steam reviews, especially for like indie games. There's a lot of solidarity between indie devs, and you know what? I totally understand that, and I am 100% on board. I went back and I deleted that review. I revised it. I'm like, you know what? You're right. This game is good. I was just in a shitty mood. I don't know. I think we have to respect how much game devs are. What's the word I'm looking for? Not victims, but they're very dependent on certain systems that just exist, like the fact that you can only really thumbs up or thumbs down things on Steam. It'd be nice if we could just point out that I think this, especially with games that already have overwhelmingly positive reviews, it's hard to get a word in edgewise a lot. And especially with Steam, like those overwhelmingly positive games, Steam has some weird taste in certain game genres. They tend to like things like Factorio a lot, which it's, if you like that sort of game, it's good, but it's easy to get the impression that games are like good for generally. Fuck me. Okay, try that again. It's easy to get the impression that certain games are good for general audiences when they actually aren't. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I pooped on Pseudo Regalia a little too much in that stream. So again, this is entirely on me that stream was disappointing. I went back and I beat it off stream, and I played it again since then. 100% recommend it. It's a short game. For what they're asking, it's totally worth it. Go play it. Next up, Kirkov's Revenge. So this was part of a stream where I was playing with a I was doing more stuff on camera, and I got this like science kit, like this build, like this electronics 50-in-1 thing to teach you how to do electronic stuff. And I thought that'd be a fun thing to do. And it was, but the stream was kind of a mess because you couldn't see I shared the instructions on the screen, but they were too small to see. And there was too much going on the camera. And I remember spilling water on it and tearing it open with a knife because some of the components didn't work. It's like, oh wow, this is already a mess. And I don't know who it was. I don't think they, oh wait, I gotta start a new playlist. I've already gone through this one. Someone just wandered into the stream and was like, oh yeah, have you played Kirkov's Revenge? It's a free game designed by some students, I forget which school, to demonstrate these concepts of like induction and stuff like that. And yeah, I think the electronics part was not was kind of a mess, but then I was like, I started playing this free game, and it was actually for an educational game. It was a lot of fun. I was like, oh, thank you, random stranger, for suggesting this. That's a kind of interaction I think as a streamer you like super live for. So yeah, I think fondly of that. That gets an A. I don't. Sometimes I wonder if I should revisit the VODs of some of these just to see if they were better than I remembered them. That's at least I know what y'all think. Fucking Frogger the Great Quest. Again, I thought every now and then I just gotta pick up a crap game and try and have fun with it, and Frogger was good for exactly one stream. For like 2.5 hours of entertainment. And then the game crashed and I didn't have to play it anymore. So, oh wait, did I give that one? No, that's it. Wait a minute. Can I make all the letters show up? Okay. I didn't plan for this. Yeah, it's an ab. It's ab. Oh god, I think I broke it. Okay, well, actually I can fix that. I have to go into Warudo and manually turn the A off. A. I knew this was going to happen once. This is actually, if this is as bad as it gets, I think tonight's been pretty successful. I just have to go into Warudo and click. Boop. There we go. All right, we're good. Everything's good. Up next, Gravity Circuit. This is a Mega Man styled indie game. I played a little bit of it. I've just seen other people play this. It's really good. I didn't feel like I was getting a lot of interest in it, so I kind of abandoned it. And I'd love to go back to it. Put it in the list of things I would love to go back to. But yeah, I think it's a really good game. So yeah, highly recommend. But Ratchet and Clank 2, Going Commando. Nostalgia for me. I played this a lot on the PS2 back in the day. It was the only one of the PS2 era games that I played. So I've heard that their one's pretty good, but I don't know. I'll have to give it a try sometime. But it was really fun to walk through again. I think it was a pretty good series. It reminded me what some of the grindier bosses were like, which it was rough, but I'm glad I got that reminder. I'm glad that things aren't just like perfect forever in my memory. So, oops, I broke it. It's on the list, so you just can't see the letter. I can just keep hitting it, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, I might have finally broken everything. Impossible Creatures. Oh, this one has a clip. Oh, they're flying uphill. Oh gosh, what the? Oh no, that's a Hornoceros. That's a Rhino Hornet. That is, gosh. Every time I think I've seen the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. this shit happens.
Done.
Oh, this was a RTS game from Relic where you can make your own combinations of animals and set them on each other. It was another like really good for one stream experience. It's a little too hard for me. I'm not really good at RTS games, so it was fun to give a try. All right, so that one gets a B. Dark Souls. So I played Dark Souls. This is another one that I kind of ruined the game with randomizers, and I tried it with like the bad translation one, but then I just genuinely didn't know what anything was, so I had to undo that. I was the one with that like shuffled all the bosses and all the fog gates. I like to do more of that sort of thing. Maybe not with the first Dark Souls. Maybe Dark Souls 3. I want to mess around with more randomizer stuff. So that was okay. I get to be. Freelancer. Another playthrough that generated to date my most watched clip. It's an old. I don't even know how you qualify this. It's like an economy space simulator kind of thing. It's more arcadey. I remember playing it a lot back in the day, and I'm afraid it just didn't hold up super well. Because a lot of the gameplay loop involves, I'm gonna go mine asteroids and shoot other space pirates down, collect their stuff, and then I'll go to this other like planet system where I can sell that stuff for a lot of money, and I just repeat that until I can upgrade my ship, and that's pretty much the whole game. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot going on in between those planet hops, and then you have to figure out which planet has the best deals on whatever you're trying to sell, and it just wore me down because getting to the fun story bits was just taking forever and ever. So apart from that really good clip, it didn't hold up in my nostalgia banks. So gotta give that one a D. I wish I had the old Sidewinder joystick that I used to play it on. I think that makes it a better experience. Nintendo Land. I don't know how this came about. I think I was just looking for stuff on the Wii U to play. I think I was like playing something else, and then I decided to try this, and yeah, it was fun. I hadn't really ever played it much before, and then I started getting into some of the random games, and I was like, oh, this is all right. So I'm glad I did that. Ultimate NES Remix. So I had better memories of this game than it actually was. I like the concept. You do like a lot of like mini challenges in the old games. It was only like 3 or 4 different games. Like I had my memory that was more than just like Zelda and Mario. And it had some of that, but there just wasn't very much variety in the challenges. And this came up again because they just released last year, like a Nintendo World Championship. I forget what exactly it was called, but it's basically a NES remix game. I think I watched Rad play that for a while. The old one, I wanted to play more of it in the stream, but I just got tired of playing the same games over and over again. So unfortunately, that has to get a D. Big old D. He's nuts. F-Zero 99. So yeah, I played this one when it came out. It was fun for an hour. That's it. What else do you say about the 99 games? They come and go so quickly. Demon's Souls. I played the PS3 version of this, and it was a great experience. It was a great chance to talk about like this being my first Souls game, and just how much the definition of Souls game has changed over the years as more Souls games have come out. And now that we're into Elden Ring, like the genre is almost unrecognizable from this one. All these games had some issues. Demon's Souls was just really captivating because it was doing things that very few video games were doing at the time, was just being like unapologetically challenging, but in a way that made you feel like you were learning more every time you did it in a way that I think like the pace of a game like Elden Ring, and I'm not going to get into this rant, but like if you facing a boss that just has a 6-hit instant move combo, like the only way to advance that is to just get better at your reflex checks, and Demon's Souls taught you in like a completely different way, in a way that I think Elden Ring is like completely removed from now. Like all the difficulty was stacked into getting to the bosses rather than the bosses themselves. In fact, the bosses in this game sucked. It was just getting there that was the challenge. And like I said, it wasn't perfect. None of the Souls games were perfect, but you still enjoy the overall experience. So that's an A. I guess I'm just not getting the letter A back. Sorry. It's fine. It's still up there on the board. That's all I care about. I couldn't get through this whole stream without breaking something. Oh, Dreamwalker, Never Fall Asleep. There's another Halloween-themed hidden object game. And by this point, I was like, you know, I think I should have stopped at this one, honestly. All right, so we're into October of 23 now. Nocturne, an old PC game where you play as a God, what era even was it? It was like World War I era. You're a vampire hunter and you got to work with a vampire lady and you have a contentious relationship. It was a really interesting concept game that was just too clunky in practice, which was true of a lot of, again, this experimental late 90s game period. So I didn't stick with this for too long because it was just too janky, but it was a good one to revisit for fun, so that gets a B. Next up, this is another one that was tough for me to gauge whether this was like a very tip-top series. The game itself is amazing. Highly recommended if you like spoopy games. I feel like I probably whined a little too much in this game while playing it about the limited inventory, which I think they've added some patches now to make that a little less restrictive. And some of the puzzles I got kind of stuck on. But overall, it's just one of those really like mind-fucky experiences where I feel like I want to play that game again just to figure out what the heck is going on. But I really like that game. I don't know if my specific playthrough was like top of the heap, but yeah, solid A+. Had to lurk in this. Oh yeah, that's right. I was trying not to spoil too much. But yep, really good game. Next up, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I played this as part of playing a bunch of the older Ghosts and Goblins games just to show how hard they were. And I thought Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection would be one of those games that adheres to the spirit without being quite as obnoxious, but it was still really obnoxious. I didn't like it. I didn't get very far in it, so we give that one to D. Nightmare Creatures. This is like a hidden gem of a game from the PS1 era. It's like a third-person like beat 'em up. It was kind of unusual for the time. This game was way too hard for me to get too far into, but I totally respect what they were doing, and I liked the game. I just didn't think it was too hard. It was one of those like old early PS1 era style games where I think there was a continue system and I ran out of continues. So, this is also, I got the VOD muted playing this, but only for the theme song to this game. They still have the copyright to the theme to Nightmare Creatures. That cracked me up when that happened because I was not expecting that from this random old ass PS1 game. But anyone ever streams that, just make sure you mute while you're watching the title screen. Oh, what did I give this one? I give this one a B. Sorry, didn't leave the letter up very long. All right. I played a bunch of werewolf-related NES and SNES games, and that's it. They're werewolf games. That was the whole thing. I remember a thing about it. I played the Contra game that had the werewolf creature in it, which actually came up again because he showed up in one of the Vampire Survivors DLCs. Small world. Mad Rat Dead. A game that I gotta give an above average rank to just based on the music alone. The game itself, it's like a rhythm-based platformer, so it had an interesting concept, but it was just a little too clunky, I think. So I had to dock some points for that. Definitely go check it out just for the soundtrack. In fact, just get the soundtrack, I would say, for Mad Rat Dead. Heretic 2 is one of those nostalgia games that actually, I think, held up even better than my memory had it. This is a game developed by Raven. It has not gotten a re-release because it's stuck in like licensing hell with, I think, ID Software still owns the rights to it. But it was a third-person shooter slash like. You played as the same character, so you were an elf and you had a staff. So it was an early example of like 3D like melee combat, and it really all flowed together pretty smoothly. And I enjoyed playing it again. I think it holds up really well. It gets kind of samey towards the end. I think the high points are when you actually get to hit things with a stick. What did I do with my letter A? That's gonna piss me off until I figure it out. It should be, maybe it's because I still have it visible on there? Okay, so sorry, I'm just messing around. See if I can fix this real quick. If not, I won't mess with that anymore. Okay, yeah, I did it. And it gets confetti from me. Whoa. What happened? Oh, sorry. I have way too many windows open on my screen. What's next? I'm gonna kind of speed run this because we're getting close to 2024. Shotgun King Final Checkmate. It's a quick roguelike chess game. Highly recommend it. It was good for one stream. That's pretty much it. Sanabi. I have a lot of things to say about Sanabi. It was a case of a game having a lot of really good reviews on Steam, and saying if you played Katana Zero, you'll love Sanabi. And I played Sanabi, and it's like, yeah, it's telling me like it learned nothing from Katana Zero. It was trying to be too many things. It had problems of tone. It had problems of difficulty curve. It just wouldn't get on with the freaking story. It just like hit you over the head with bad jokes like a canned ham. And I got fed up at one boss where I just kept getting insta-killed by a laser. So, again, sorry, I have to disagree with the Steam achievements or reviews, or I'm losing it. Just thinking about Sanabi. It's making my brain leak. So, again, I never want to shit on people who make games. I'm sure they poured their love and soul into this, and a lot of people like your game. I mean, God bless you. But I don't know. I think this is a crap stream, if for no other reason that I wouldn't shut up about how much I didn't like playing it. So sorry. This is one of those streams. You got to have a few of them. So, all right. So let's just move that off. Less said about that, the better. I want to finish on a strong note. Astria 6-Sided Oracles dice building roguelike game. I like the concept behind this. I have a problem with, and again, it's not shitting on this game specifically, but keeping track of like dice and like the different sides of the dice when you're building like a dice building game. Like, I get what they were going for. It was just very like visually based, and all the shapes started blending together in my eyes. So I think this is the kind of game I just need to be in the mood for. I've tried it a couple times on and off stream. I mainly just wanted to try it. I'm kind of in a period where I'm just picking out indie games just because I want to get them out there and show people what they're about. So in that regard, I think it was a okay stream. It's a decent game. I think it's just you gotta be in the right market for that sort of thing. Oh, Cubivore. So I was playing some really obscure GameCube games, and I picked that one. Interesting. That's about all I'm prepared to say for it. It's, how do I describe it even? You're a cube, you eat other cubes and parts of other cubes, and you have like flaps that represent like your abilities and your health and stuff. It's all very abstract, but I think it's too complicated for its own good. And it promises more gameplay than it actually delivers. So it was good to play once, but it's not a great game. Arcade Full of Cats. So I need to take a breather. I've got a lot of pressure in my head, and it's wearing me out. But we're almost done. We're on the final stretch. I swear. I'm gonna get everyone to bed in a reasonable hour tonight. We're not gonna do any more Prince of Persia. That's for next week. Arcade Full of Cats is one of those random games that I saw and looked interesting. It's one of those. Maybe I should have shared a clip of this, but basically you have a drawing of an arcade with like a lot of like details, and you have to click the cats. This is actually kind of a genre of game out there. You can find a lot from this developer and from other ones where you're just trying to find all the cats in the picture. It's like it's like a big coloring book, really, with some mini games in there. But I had a lot of people come in and check it out, and we had some good conversations. I got to identify all of the old-ass arcade games that I made references to. So that was a really fun stream. I like that one. That's an A. Go Hypergrind. Oh, I have a clip of this one, too.
Always be, like, doing tricks and points and stuff. No, I can spin all I want. I'm still gonna land on my face. All right.
I shared a clip of that one because it was easier than trying to describe that game. It's a skateboard game, but you're a cartoon, so you try and like explode yourself and saw your head off for points. Interesting concept is it wore out its welcome again really quick. There wasn't as much gameplay, but I still would put it above Cubivore in that regard, so it gets a B. Gave us more stuff to talk about. Star Fox Adventures. This one's tough. Let me take a sip here. I'm already all through this other bottle of water. I'm getting plenty of water tonight. This is a tough one because it actually bookends the 3-month period where I wasn't streaming because I was working on this model in the new background. And those were rough times for me. And excuse me, to think that I came back and had to play more of this game. It's kind of rough. Oh God, it kind of rubs salt in the wound. And yeah, it got people watching. I guess I'm glad I played it because it's an experience and a half, and it really gets. I didn't hate it. It's kind of like it's a Zelda game basically. That's just kind of easier than a Zelda game. It's just as you get closer to the end, it becomes really clear that they were running out of time to get it through the door. We had a lot of conversations about the development history of this game, and some of you had a lot to say about the trivia of this. But at the point where I was almost towards the end, like, get me through the fucking I think it was the Andross fight that almost ruined the entire experience for me. But you know what? I'm glad that y'all enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad that I finished it on the other end of me reworking the model and stuff. So we give that one an affectionate B. Oh, hit the button. So we're still in Christmas of 2023 because that's when I started playing that. And we played Kyle as Santa. How do I describe? So this is a DLC for Kyle is Famous, which was what do you even call Kyle is Famous? It's a choose your own adventure, but like way more fucked up. And yeah, I had a kind of a classic moment where I need to put this back because I used my cutaway scene of Ron Swanson throwing the computer in the trash over one of the more graphic sections of this game. I'll put that back at some point, but I wanted to play a silly ass Christmas game, and that was definitely one of them. So we give that one a solid B. Solid B. Also, Gianni Matrograno read the voices for the. I think that was the deluxe edition where they actually did the voiceover for the story cards. So yeah, it was good that I didn't have to sit and read all that. Liza P, another game that I really wanted to like. I was getting into it at the beginning. I love parry-based combat. I liked it at first. I probably complained a lot about the game just dumping a lot of mechanics on you. I think that was my biggest beef with it. It kind of inundates you with different systems of things in a way that is not super natural, where all I really wanted to do was getting back to bonking mannequins with my sword. And at this point, like, most everyone had already played this game, so I was like, do I really want to commit to doing like 7 or 8 streams of this? And by the time I got back from a break, I was like, I'm not feeling it. I think it was the King of Puppets fight, but about halfway through the game, yeah, that fight it rubbed me the wrong way, because I was banging my head against the second phase of that fight, and when I finally get to the point where I give up, I'm going to look up a fact on how to do this, and it turns out there was a way to do it that made the whole fight like a whole degree of difficulty less, and I'm like, I can't take any more of this Elden Ring boss design where everything is down to reflexes or just happening to guess the magic way to beat this guy. And it is like, I was really enjoying the game up to that point, and then I was like, I can't, if the rest of the game is going to be like that, I don't think I can enjoy it. So I enjoyed the bit of it I played, but I cut and run at halfway through, and I think I'll probably just leave it there. Is there ever DLC coming out for that, or did I hallucinate that? I don't know. Coffee break. Coffee spelled C-O-U-G-H-Y. I need another sip. Okay, gonna zoom through this. Next up, American Truck Simulator. I play this kind of as a random, this will be a fun game to play during Christmas. We're delivering presents, cool. And it ended up being one of those games where I just got on the road and I just started finding things to talk about, and it ended up being like a kind of a like super confessional series. Like, it was sort of serious until I got to parallel parking, and then it got hard again. But those ended up being really fun just chatting streams. In fact, I did this one again with my whole like racing wheel setup, and I did the webcam over my shoulders so you could see me shifting gears and stuff. That was a lot of fun. You know, dead. We don't. Wait. We don't talk about the dead body. Anyway, sorry. See, every time you say shit like that, Quill, I'm like, did I actually tell a story about a dead guy? Because y'all remember my streams better than I do. So, oh, sorry, Harry, I got back to what you're saying. Overture. Okay. I kind of stopped thinking about it for a while, and I might go back to it at some point. I feel like that's been a refrain of my whole night. Like, it'd be great if I had time to replay all these games, but better this time. What does American Truck Simulator get? That gets, like I said, it was a pleasant surprise, so I'll give that one an A. The Long Dark. I thought it'd be funny to play a winter survival game in Christmas time. I had friends who played this. I played it on the hardest difficulty setting for some reason, and I didn't get very far in it. I thought it would be one of those games that would be entertaining because I keep getting eaten by wolves. which did happen once, and it was entertaining, but it was mainly just me sitting in the dark trying to find a match, and I gave up on it. I still think it's a really good game. There's actually, this is the game I was thinking that there's a sequel coming out soon-ish, if it's not out already. So keep an eye on that. Sorry, I keep sipping, but Polar Express. So I played this with Zathura and Home Alone for the PS2. And yeah, those I watched some of this VOD back, and it was funnier than I remembered it being. I feel like this is kind of well-worn territory. I feel like a lot of streamers who play old bad games have played Polar Express, but it delivers. It does what it's supposed to. So we'll give that one a B also. What's next? Oh my god, we might be finally getting into new series after the remodel, where everything else is just kind of leftovers from Christmas. It's Oddworld. Hey, you know, I've got...
Now,
there it is.
If I don't fall to my death here.
Classic clip. Hi, Pablo. Thank you for the follow. Just in time to watch me fall through a hole.
Wow. I hit every hole I could have fallen through.
So, yep. That was the first series back that I started, because like everything else was just finishing up my previous series. And... I hadn't played Oddworld in a long-ass time, and a lot of y'all had played it before, and it gave us so many great moments like this. And all together, we got to put that one at the top. I've got all the Abe voice triggers, so it tells you how much I enjoyed that. All right. So we're on this is it. This is 2024, so we're almost entirely caught up. Alone in the Dark remake. Man. How did y'all feel about this one? I don't know. Kind of on the fence. As a remake, it was just okay. I wish I hadn't spent like $60 on it. It wasn't that much. I mean, it might have been 50. I don't know. It was a lot. It wasn't as good as the originals. It was kind of built up as like a reboot that was going to be really scary, and it had David Harbour and I feel terrible that I keep forgetting the actress's name. It had potential, but it just as a hyped up reboot, it wasn't. I don't remember anything about that game either, except for what was. I know I had a couple clips from that, but I don't remember what they are now. I think it was mainly it was me talking about the demon in the wash tub. Yeah, I was thinking about the bathtub monster from the original game when I said that, but I might go back and make some like short videos from that playthrough, just so I can remember what what the game was about. Hello. So, as middle of the road, hi Ursh, coming into good takes of what that this game was just kind of meh. I mean, that's just, I was calling it like I see it. All right. I Want to Maker. It's a maker game for the I Want to Be the Guy games. This game was a pleasant surprise, actually, because the levels weren't, like, unfair, and, like, the single-player campaign with all the pre-built levels were actually really, really good. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. I didn't play it more than a couple streams, because I felt like I was enjoying it more than the audience was, but, I definitely recommend. What's next? Pepper Grinder. I really love the first half of this game. I'd been watching for this game to come up because I'd seen the previews for it. It's like a kind of a speedrunner based game, but you have a drill and you get to move in like all directions. And while I was doing that, the game was a lot of fun. For some reason, towards the end, it just turned into like a Metal Slug style, shoot 'em up. And I was like, I wish y'all had stuck with because there were some good variations on the formula at the beginning, and then it just kind of fell apart towards the end. But I did enjoy like a good chunk of the game. And we talked about this too while I was playing it. I think I glitched out the boss, and that's the main reason that I beat it. A little disappointing, but overall, it was still a fun time. So I give it a beat. Duranko Wonko, Boomer Road, and Not a Lot. This was a set of 3 games that were released as freeware as part of. Was this? Oh shoot! Was it? I want to say Bandai Namco, but I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna go look this one up. Duranko. Oh, Namco. Yes. Okay. So, Namco apparently has this program for like new employees to develop these like short game concepts, and they had released these in Japan before, but in the past year they released them like globally, and so we got these 3 games for free. They're basically kind of demos, but you get to see what they're cooking up. So it was a good time. So Duranko Wonko is a game where you play as like the Pomeranian and you just like make a mess of the house. Boomer Road was a sci-fi-ish platformer where you throw a boomerang to make rails and then you grind on the rails to get places. And Not a Lot was a puzzle game where you're a little robot ball and you take control of other robots. Okay, Boomer Road, yep. I remember this stream didn't get a whole lot of attention, but I was still more concerned about that sort of thing. Especially after the re-release, I wanted to make sure I was keeping everyone entertained. But it made me want to play more of these games, so I hope they get developed into their full versions. Especially Not a Lot. I think that one had the most potential. And I just wanted to do like more like showcase type streams. I want to get more like indie games in to get those games out there, and I'll be focusing a little more on that this year. It's just part of keeping everything fresh, trying a little bit of whatever. So that gets a B. Oh, Titanfall 2. Okay. This is a lot of people's favorite. So I was a little nervous about playing it. The single player campaign it was like a 2-stream game. And I don't think there was a whole lot memorable about the streams themselves, but I had a good time playing it. I don't think I'd ever go back and play it again. For one thing, I had to install the friggin' EA, was it EA? Yeah, the EA launcher off of Steam. I was like, okay, I beat Titanfall 2. Now I'm uninstalling this forever. But yeah, really fun game. And a good voice acting. It was really good. It wasn't totally what I was expecting, but yeah, more of that, please. No, they can't. They went on to do freaking Apex, so that's all you get. No more Titanfall. Oh, Fallout 1. This was a game I was really on the fence about even playing for a long time, and I was at the point where, you know what, I'm gonna try and just do a longer series and just see where it goes. I had played a little bit of Fallout like way back in the day, and I wasn't sure if I could get through the whole game. Is it going to be too like janky? So I did look up some things just to make sure that didn't happen, and I think it made the overall experience smoother without taking away from, enjoying the story. Like, I wasn't spoiled on too much stuff. Also, it was a real blast to go through and identify all of the voice actors doing the different parts. Just because, yeah, some of those names are like legends, and a lot of them aren't with us anymore, sadly. But no, it's an absolute classic. I don't remember how many streams, maybe 6. But I think this is what started me getting to be more confident with doing longer playthroughs, which led to us playing through games like Nine Souls and Lorelei, which ended up being awesome experiences. We'll get to that. So for that reason, I think we also have to put Fallout at the very, very top of the list. And I don't know if I'll ever play another Fallout game on stream. I feel like 2 is probably just a lot more of what 1 was. But 1 is, it's what started it all. You gotta respect that. So, thank you, Fallout. Still got the BB gun. What? Apparently I played Magic the Gathering Arena. This must have been back when I was sort of dipping my toe back into Magic. I did like the pre-release for Thunder Junction. And I'll play a little bit more. And the more I play Arena, the more I'm reminded of what what annoys me about the game and the business around it. And it just kind of woke up a lot of kind of crummy feelings. So I thought, well, we're just going to leave that in the past. But for a stream, it was fine. I'm not going to probably ever play Magic again. Unless we play Chandelar. That'll be the exception to the rule. I do want to play more Chandelar. All right. Little Big Planet. Another classic PS3 game. I'm getting use out of the PS3 that I have. This was a fun one to replay. Got reminded us that all the servers were dead because most of the game is built around people putting their levels online, which you can't do anymore. But we played the main campaign, and it was okay. It kind of reminded me how janky the physics were in that game. But it was cute. It's a game that kind of exists on its own charm, and it's got plenty of that. So I give that a B. I give that a B experience. Fucking Shark Tale. Oh, clip time. Also, why do we need a scissor lift? I can just swim up here. We don't have cars in this universe. Pixar wouldn't let us. Pixar got to the cars first. All the cars got raptured into their own movies, so now we have to swim around. Also, we have spinning toilet brushes in our car wash. I don't know why. Oh man, watching this video back was reminding me how much fun I had ripping on this game. Again, I just like at least a couple times a year, I just have to pick out random ass PS2 versions of DreamWorks movies, and I picked Shark Tale. That game was bad, but it was more playable than I was. Okay, yeah, you're right. It was a whale wash. I'm sorry. It was so like bad and unhinged, much like the movie was, that it gave me so much to talk about how wrong the world was. And see, that's what I want out of a bad game. Give me stuff to riff on. That's it. And that whole section with the scissor lift thing still cracks me up. It's just sitting back there. I must have thought, yeah, why do they have that? They don't have cars. Why do you need scissor lifts? Yeah, I know. I'm a fake Shark Tale fan. Also, I thought that game was going to get me in trouble because I forgot that there were like licensed songs in the middle of it. There was like, I Like the Way You Move by Outkast. I had to do that twice because I failed it the first time. I was like, shit, I'm going to get the VOD muted like all over the place. But that didn't happen, thankfully. And I still have the recording. So maybe I remember that more fondly than y'all do, but based on that alone, it gets a B. Also, I was going to play the hard copy version of that, but it died, so it was like a long conversation in my Discord of me trying to revive the game with my my skip doctor, and it didn't work, so I had to give Shark Tale a burial at sea. I had to put the CD in the toilet, so rip Shark Tale. Oh, speaking of, over the hedge, kind of continuing in the same vein. It was like, let's see what we can get out of this. I never watched this movie. I was dimly aware that it existed. I think this is when I realized that that's where that emote came from. I forgot it was off the Over the Hedge poster. Also remember I doctored the poster for the weekly schedule that I did, so like I posted the face over that, and I think I erased the squirrel's teeth or something. I did a lot of weird shit. I was having fun. It's hilarious nonsense. Yeah, I feel like the movie is probably better than the game was. It's one of those things where they're just doing like the movie in game form, but it's like really obvious that they didn't have the original voice actors. It wasn't Bruce Willis was the raccoon, right? Yeah, they were going to get Bruce Willis. Gary Shandling was the turtle. Steve Carell was the squirrel, right? Yeah, they're not getting DreamWorks money for the PS2 version of that game. So, it's just really awkward. The Shark Tale had a lot of like variety of mini games, and Over the Heads just you ran around people's like neighborhoods and houses stealing stuff. I remember nothing about about either of those games. So yeah, it didn't give me nearly as much to work with as Shark Tale did. So that's a C. It was fun while it lasted, but we gotta. At least you survived the toilet. Animal Well. This game's controversial. It came up with a lot of hype. A lot of people really like it. I thought it was really kind of like mediocre. I know I'm not the only one that felt that way about it. I wanted to give it a shot. Again, I never want to feel like I'm shitting on indie devs, but it came out with a lot of press, I think mainly because of the publisher of it. And like I wanted to like it. I felt like it made a lot of really egregious design decisions, and it kind of put a damper on a lot of the rest of the game. I did get through it though. I did finish it on stream, but I didn't like it enough to stick with whatever the unlockables were. It got a little too Fez-like in how obscure some of the puzzles were. Again, I was sure a nod to Fez maybe, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Maybe it's for you. Like I said, it's a totally okay game. Oh, I put this one on here. Super Metroid. I played this a couple times, but this was in a period where I was just playing it because I wanted to replay it again, and I've never been a speedrunner, but just for fun, I wanted to go through a speedrun route, like 100% route, just to see what I could do with it. And I managed to do 100% in under 2 hours, where I think the actual speedrun record is like an hour and change. The any percent I think is like the 40 minutes or something. But I was really happy about those 2 hours because I played that game a lot over the years, starting with, being a teenager. And I never got super good at, like, when you play games, back in those days, like, speedrunning wasn't really a thing that most people knew about. So you just play games for the experience just to kill time. And I just play it that way forever. So kind of changing my perspective on that was a cool experience. I probably won't ever do it again, but I'm glad that I did it. So Super Metroid, you are an all-time classic. You get an A. What's next? Oh shit, 3D Movie Maker. I couldn't find a title screen for this. This one was one of those I was worried about trying because it's 3D Movie Maker, and look at the interface. Look at the UI of this thing. I was terrified that I wasn't going to be able to do anything with it, and it was going to be a mess. Also, I mean, like, German made this famous. How am I going to do any better, right? This program is actually open source, and you can try it on your own if you really want. And through the power of friendship and reading like a lot of online facts, I made a 5-minute movie in this thing, and I recorded it, and the VOD's still there. So yeah, I didn't learn enough of it to figure out how to get like custom characters. That's a whole other that's a deep dark hole you can fall into. But for the time I spent with it, it was an A experience. It was a lot of fun. Oh, Incredible Machine. Sorry, I need another swig. I'm gonna be peeing clear tonight. All right, so Incredible Machine is another classic puzzle game that I never got to play as a kid, and so revisiting it was a little bit of a gamble. Just, I wasn't sure if it would hold up, but I thought the puzzles, for being kind of an old game, is a little clunky, but I thought the puzzles overall held up pretty well. I felt like after 2 streams worth, we were going to start seeing some repetition, and I was right about that, so I feel good that I made that call. But for those 2 streams, I thought it was a really good time. So, yep. Incredible Machine A. I think if you like this sort of puzzle game, you'll probably like playing it for I don't know. How long did I play it? Like about six hours ish. I don't know. Maybe you'll like it more. I don't know. What song is this? I don't know. I've just had this music on in the background. That is, yes, it is Streets of Rogue. Good call. Also, hi Badger. Nice to see you. Oh, button. Forgot what I'm doing. Take your screenshot so you can zoom in on it later. We're almost done. Hopefully this isn't too impossible to read, but this is the best I could do. It's the only way I could get 200 items on a tier list. We're into the Journeyman Project games. Now I did lump all 3 of these. Oh.
Once you have finished logging your report on the command center, I want to see you in my office immediately.
I'm going to bite your ankles.
Yes, Captain Bulldog, my favorite character in all 3 games. Also, did it seem like my glasses were bluer in the old stream? Maybe they were. I don't know. I think they look fine now. I did not know what to expect going into this. It was a very strange adventure game. And this is actually not the original version of it. It was remade later on with the actors from the 2nd and 3rd games. And in terms of just like unhinged like mid-90s FMV logic and acting, it was a game where like you'd go into a hallway and just like a random actor with like Coke bottle glasses would like make silly jokes. And but it was also a serious time travel drama action adventure thing. It was all over the place. And I think it was hard to balance all 3 games on their own merits for me. Some of y'all are more familiar with these games than I was, but as adventure games, I mean, they don't weigh against like the all-time adventure games, but I haven't played anything else like this series, so I gotta give it something special for that. I think the first game gets a little bit of a bump just because it was like I was trying to take it all in. So I think a lot of people enjoyed that playthrough too. So apart from the times where I got really stuck and I just had to I had to look at the ceiling and the floor to find the object I was missing. And speaking of which, there was a lot more of that in the second one, I thought. I also have to give a lot of demerits to this one for crashing every time I would click outside the window, and B, for having a 5-minute unskippable cutscene at the very end where what's-her-face is telling you why she's doing all of their evil stuff, which they apparently just forgot about in the 3rd game. And I crashed the game before I could finish it, and like, oh god. I did eventually finish it though, but it loses a letter grade because of that. And the 3rd game, there was a lot more to like about the 3rd game because it got away from, first of all, it didn't have any like deaths. You couldn't die in the game just by wandering off a cliff. It also introduced like a panoramic, like free view mechanic where it wasn't like full 3D, but you had like a full texture you could look around. It was kind of strange, but at the same time, it made it a lot easier to miss items, I think, because stuff blended in more. Also, the whole series does a weird thing where a lot of adventure games have done this, but I felt like it was kind of egregious with this, and then it gives you a whole lot of items to pick up and carry around, but only like a few of them are necessary for you to finish the game. There were a lot of those in the last one. I can't dislike this series. It's too charming, and how can you not like Captain Bulldog? Also, I love the 3rd one just because they got a new actor for Gage who was like really, really serious about his job compared to the Gage from the first 2 games. And yeah, yeah, the tone is all over the place, but in a way that makes it kind of fun. So I still think the first one, as far as streaming it, was the best one. So the other two sit at B. Experience of the game you played recently? Yeah, it's true of a lot of adventure games. But, all right, what's next? So I stretched those 3 games out because I played the third one a lot later. So right after I started the first one, we got into... What grade do you think this was going to get, chat? Just kidding, it's an S. This is one of my favorite games of at least the last few years that I've ever played. It has got an amazing story. It does parry-based combat pretty much as well as you can possibly do it. It had the moments that were like really like emotionally heavy. Like I was seriously unsettled by some of the stuff. So if you play that, keep that in mind. This is not a game you play with mom and dad. Other than that, I'm going to go back and play it again sometime. And the footnote to this is that I beat the game before I went on a summer vacation, and y'all were very kind to not tell me at that point that there was a whole like third boss phase that I didn't unlock because I missed a couple of things. I eventually figured that out, and I did beat that game. I finished the final boss all the way through, and I saw the final ending. I'm a little bit bummed that I didn't get to share that bit of the story that I missed the first time, but at the same time, I'm giving y'all something to see if you ever decide to play it on your own. So, I think you do have to enjoy that Sekiro style of combat because there's a lot of it, and you kind of need to get good at that sort of thing. But Path of the Teal. Oh yeah, Quill. I'm glad you mentioned that. I just became aware of that game recently. So Path of the Teal Lotus, I think, was in development around the same time as Night Souls, but I hadn't heard of it until recently. But yeah, they're kind of in similar veins, I think, but they're different enough that they're both worth checking out. I'll check out that other one whenever I get the chance. But yes, Night Souls, like I said, I was getting bolder about getting into long series, and it was one of the most rewarding that I did. And I hope I represented that game well. I hope it was fun to watch. Probably some people were avoiding spoilers, but understand. Webbed, this is a cute little game. It was also like kind of unhinged also. There were like ants building robot ants, and the one thing I knew about this game is that it had a web swinging mechanic, and it was really interesting from a game design perspective because you'd swing around from your little spider butt on your web, and the web would like wrap around objects, and there were a lot of like physics-based platforming sections that you get around to that, and that part of the game I really enjoyed. But I think it went off a little too far in the weeds a little too often for it to be like a really super memorable experience. But I liked all they had, what am I trying to say? I don't know. I liked the I don't know, the entomology representation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. In the grass, yes, that's what I meant. In the grass, the weeds, in what else was there? There's quicksand. I don't know. Well, it was a pretty good game. I'd say it's a good, solid B. We're almost done, chat. We're the last 30 some. Oh yeah. So this was my affiliate anniversary stream. I didn't do anything super fancy. I unboxed this and I played some of the Atari 400 games. And boy, those were rough. They're not games that are easy to stream, but this is all I had as a kid, so I still had good memories of it. So I still have this little guy, and I can play. I played Mega Mania, so okay, that's the one exception. I can play Mega Mania all day. It's a shmup. You shoot hamburgers and tires, and it's really good. I played a ton of that when I was teeny tiny kiddo, little ratto, playing that game. What did I give this one? We'll give that one a B. Mainly because the nostalgia, because the games themselves, not easy to get through. Metroid Zero Mission. I had good memories of this, and it had been a while since I played it, and I knew it was a short game, and as I played it again, I realized there was a bunch of stuff that I missed because towards the end, you kind of get shoehorned into the ending, but if you have to realize that you can go off and do your own thing to get the rest of the collectibles. And since then, I hadn't finished Metroid Fusion, but after I played that on stream, I went back and I finished Fusion, and I like Fusion. It's so like different from like my usual Metroid experiences, because again, I played tons and tons of Super Metroid. Fusion was odd in that it had a lot more dialogue in it. It was very linear. So was Zero Mission, to be fair. But yeah, I enjoyed playing Zero Mission again. It did kind of remind me of some of the things about that game that weren't so hot, but I'm glad I played it, so. Boop-doo. I need to play Dread at some point. Thief 2, The Metal Age. Okay, so back to the Thief series. Now I mentioned that, oh, by the way, you like the shape of the box? That's how the IDOS games were actually published back in the day, in that weird pyramid-shaped box. I was just nostalgic about that.
Okay.
That's just, oh, it was the stream. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was a huge fan, and I'd already played Thief 1. I thought, I'll play Thief 2 this year. And you know, the weird thing is, I know it's one of my favorite games, and I know I had a lot to say about it when I was playing it. I don't remember a whole lot else about my stream of this, so it's hard to judge. But if I discovered if some of you discovered me playing it, then I guess that makes it special. And again, since I gave the first Thief a really high A, but I docked some points because of the gold levels, which I didn't care for. I gotta put. Whoa! I got some preemptive applause from the soundtrack for Thief 2. It gets an S tier. I remember. Oh yeah, this game. I was on the last level when I got a tornado warning on my phone, and I had to turn it off for a minute. I think that's the memorable thing about it. Anyway, all right, so we're slowly filling out. What have we got up there? We've got Parasite Eve, Star Tropics, System Shock Remake, Quantum Break, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Fallout 1, Nine Souls, Thief 2. Yeah, that's a pretty good list. And Star Tropics mainly because, yeah, my history with it, and because it was fun to talk about stuff. Nintendo and their shenanigans. All right, so we're now getting into Rayman for the PS1. I knew this game was going to be hard. I didn't think it was going to be that hard. The game's hard as dicks. I can't play it. I ran out of continues. I did not get very far in it at all, Ursh. I don't remember where I got stuck. Once I realized that I had like limited continues, I was like, okay, we're gonna play this for like 3 hours. Yeah, it's pretty impossible unless you just play it and play it. That's what I was talking about. The first Crash Bandicoot game. Does it have that same thing where you had to find game saves, like a Resident Evil style? But yeah, I respect Rayman. I love the newer Rayman games. Rayman Legends is great. But the older Raymans, maybe don't start with that one. Also, this music got loud. Hang on. In my headphones, anyway. Right, let's nudge it down a bit. I'm running out of soundtrack again. Hang on a minute. Okay. Which one was I still listening to before? I don't know. Oh, this is a Rayman 1 fan remake? As both of you mentioned? Okay, well, I'm gonna check that one out. Coming up on, we're just over. Chat, I thought I was going to be able to do this whole tier list in 2 hours. Silly me. Well, I promise. We're on, let's see, which one is this? That was, Rayman was 174 of 200. Yes, almost there. And like, this is getting into the back half of 2024, so this is a lot of this is probably a lot fresher in y'all's memory. Yes, you did. I'm sorry. I should have listened to Cube. I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't like get really. I was feeling really worn down at the beginning of the stream, and I'm glad that I stuck around long enough to start feeling good again. I think it was all that water. Salamander County Public Television.
Would I eat
There
this
it is.
burger if I could learn how to unhinge my jaw? This is like $100 in ingredients alone. How and why am I so good at this?
That's one of those games where you just do stuff and you don't even know what you're doing and you're succeeding somehow. There's a lot of that. Salamander County Public Television was a collection of mini games based on stock photos and music and text to speech. And gosh, I loved the heck out of that game. It went a lot of places. Oh gosh, I'm looking through this. What do you think, Chad? I was really on the fence on this one too. Is this like one of the was this like did I do this game service? Because the end alone with the galactic clown cop and the guy with the vacuum in his mouth, and I think that's what puts it over for me. And hopefully my voice acting didn't ruin it. You know, I'm feeling good. We'll give it an S. It's memorable, if nothing else. It's like, right? I talked about that when I played Jazz Punk. It's in that vein of like, what the fuck's gonna happen next? All right. Yoku's Island Express. This was a fun little game. This came up recently. I think Rad was doing Guess the Game, and this came up, and Rad was like, I know I've played this, but what the heck was it called? It's got one of those titles. Like, unless you knew this game, like, because you'd played it recently, and someone just told you what it was about, like, the name of the game would not give you any hint at all. You're a dung beetle, and you play pinball on an island. There's nothing about, like, delivering the mail, or the fact that your name is Yoku. This was a really fun game, too. We got some visits from like other speedrunners who had worked on like the randomizer for this. I always love it when that happens, and I get kind of conscious about the way that I play games because I'm not a speedrunner at all. I'm just there to have a good time. Yoku's Island Express was a really like chill, fun little time. It wasn't. And it's not really like a hardcore pinball game, but it definitely works in the environment. There's enough variety there that yeah, it's a neat little game. Recommend. Oh boy, what's up next, chat? You ready for this? It's Scalar for the PS2. Oh man, another one of those. Oh no! What possessed me to play this? I just thought. Sometimes I just look at the things that I have played recently and what I have in my backlog, and I just try and mix it up a little bit. And I thought, let's play an early 2000s like a platformer that's trying to be Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank or whatever one it was. You're a dinosaur kid. God, what do we talk about? There's so many things to talk about with this game. First of all, it's not a very good game, but it's not nearly as bad as I was thinking it might be. It's an entirely serviceable game. Also, we made much of the fact that the design studio was called A2M, which they are not called anymore because someone told them what that meant. So we made that joke a few times. It was one of those games where if you hadn't read about the story in the manual, the game would not have explained anything because the game starts with you before you get TF'd into a dragon dinosaur. what was it? His thing? Oh no, he was like a lizard, like eco-terrorist or some shit. He was a 10-year-old eco-terrorist who liked lizards, and he got turned into a lizard because he went into the lizard dimension, and that was it. Like the game cold opens with the kid being in the basement, being tortured by the 1-800 general guy who is also a lizard, but it's never explained. This game was. I don't know if this game was less of a fever dream than Salamander County was, but we got through it. And as I said, it had some sketchy combat sections, and especially it did a lot of the same things over and over, and it didn't really change up the environments. Everything was in this weird mushroom dinosaur dimension. It threw in some random ass Star Fox adventure shooting sections, and what are they putting Scalar Dead by Daylight? I don't know. He belongs there. But if nothing else, this game got me more open to the idea of playing these D-list mascot platform games. I've got a couple on my backlog, so we'll see where this goes. I give Scalar an A. Not an M. No more of that. We're filling out the board, chat. It's almost done. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I love this game for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's a puzzle game that I actually got through like 99% of the way without any help. I had to look up a couple of the puzzles that were optional, and some of them were really cheesy and I didn't like them. But the mainline puzzles were all like really, really solid. Oh, thank you, Quill. I'm really happy that I could do that because you recommended this game to me. And this game ended up being just another one of my like favorites of recent memory. I won't explain too much about the game if you haven't played through it. I definitely recommend it if you like puzzle games. I still think a lot about getting to the end and like when it clicks what is happening. It was just a really like powerful moment. And I thought about that a lot long after I finished playing it. So yeah. This is just like Nine Souls. It's like this out of nowhere. Two of the most amazing games that I played. It's like, what else is out there that I haven't played yet? Well, we'll find out. Lorelei, you get an S tier. Up next. Sacrifice. Oh, chat. I haven't I didn't talk about the schedule for this week. Did y'all know that I'm going to be playing Black and White for the PC on Wednesday? And I have some super secret tech that I'm going to be breaking out for that. And that piece of tech might make it easier for me to play games like Sacrifice, because trying to play this on modern hardware is an absolute shit show. And I wanted to get more into this game than I could, but it kept crashing. It was like I said, this was a game developed by Shiny, after some folks have split off to start the company that did Giant Citizen Kabuto. And Sacrifice is a different kind of game. It has its own like sense of humor, but it's mainly like a real-time strategy game, but it's in third person. So it has a lot of interesting mechanics, but I could not get it to work. And it just kept crashing. And I thought, I'll have to put this away until we can play it again. So for now, I have to give it a D, but stay tuned, right? We might revisit this one. This one had... this one had Tim Curry in it, and a bunch of other like voice actors that you probably recognize. They had a pretty good budget for that. It kind of flew under the radar like a lot of like PC stuff at the time. So I want to play more of it. Thronefall. This was kind of a filler Sunday chill time episode. It's a kind of a tower defense game, but you have some control over the units. It had just gotten out of early access or something, and I gave it a try. And I like it. I recommend it if you like tower defense games. Give this a shot. Oh, I gotta rank it. What do I rank it? I rank it a B. Oh, fuck me, the Wheel of Time. Another game along the lines of Sacrifice that I had actually played this game way back in the day, and oh god,
Cheese.
thank you for the cheese. I need to have a hydrate. I remember playing Wheel of Time, and I knew that it had issues, but I still felt like there was enough there to make it worth playing again. Also because I hadn't heard it talked about for a long time. And I bought this version of the game on GOG, so this is like the official release. And it just goes to show, once you get into, beyond the games that are really easy to platform in DOSBox, then you're getting into like the late 90s, early aught stuff where you're starting to use more of like the first Unreal Engine. And it's really, really tough to get that working in Windows 11. And that's what I ran into with this game. Apart from that, it starts really showing the cracks towards the end, where at the beginning you're picking up like a bunch of cool artifacts and there's traps you gotta dodge, and it's got a pretty interesting story with some decent like cutscene acting. You've got evil Shaggy with the 4 giant beard hairs, because 98 CGI, what are you gonna do? So I had to give up on this game because it was just too janky and crashy. So I don't know. I'm kind of affectionate for it, but I gotta give it a D. It was too much of a mess. It started strong, but it finished really rough. Oh yeah, Hacker. So I was recommended some hacking simulator what am I trying to say? Some hacking simulator style games, and it reminded me that I played this on my 8-bit Atari back in the day. It was Hacker, designed by Steve Cartwright, and yeah, it was a very like trial and error-y kind of game, but it was presented like you were logging into like some supercomputer somewhere and you had to download all the secret plans and get parts for stuff, but you were actually working for the government and now you're a hero. Very, very zeitgeisty, war game style game. And it captured that really well for, 1985 computer, when, back when a modem was like, you had to put the phone receiver into a cradle to get the the modem noises, and that's how we got on the internet back in those days. It's very Carmen it's like Carmen Sandiego, except if it was a train wreck. Because you had to know where the tunnels were, so you had to break out the graph paper, and then you had to figure out which spies wanted which item, and you only had so much money. It was like we had to find ways to pad out games back in those days, because you only had like whatever memory was on the Atari 800. So Hacker is it was fun to revisit and talk about, though. It's definitely an interesting experience for the time, which led us to playing a game called Hacknet. Now, I feel bad about this one because this game came recommended to me and I really wanted to get into it. Mainly because, like, it's a, like, simulation of, like, how hacking works. And I know computers, but I'm not a hacker. I know how to make apps and stuff. It's just not been a whole like scene or subculture that I've really been connected to. So I was hoping that this would teach me a little more about it, but I didn't get hooked on it, and I felt like the gameplay loop started getting a little bit, I started recognizing the patterns, you know what I mean? So I might give this a try. I know there's DLC for this, so I might revisit something like this in the future. But I think my stream of it wasn't very good just because I wasn't able to get into it the way that y'all were. I always feel bad when that happens, so So I'll try harder next time, but we give that a D for now. Just for my stream of it, not the game. All right. We're into October of last year. Fucking blood nut. Game sucked. Game sucked. My playthrough of it sucked. I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't have time to prepare for it. The voice acting was awful. It had crappy accents in it. Don't play it. It's not a good game. Oh yeah, Uplink. I've heard of Uplink, but I did not play it as part of that. Excuse me. Yeah, the whole Hacker Fest game collection kind of got cut short after I played Hacknet because I moved on other stuff. But I would revisit that genre for sure. So stay tuned, friends. Crow Country. It's a really, really good game. It's a short experience. It's very much a distilled game, survival horror. Also, I'm really annoyed by the fact that I got all the way to the end of the game, and I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't. In fact, I won't. I messed something up at the very end of the game that I didn't realize until later, and now I can't go back and I can't unstream that stream. So it's like crap. So I got to ding myself for that. It's Resident Evil-y, but it's balanced very well. It throws a lot of enemies at you, and it makes your ammunition limited in a way that propels you forward in a way that I think it gets it just right. And it's one reason why this game has a lot of really good reviews. It's not a super long game, and if you don't like that Resident Evil style, it might not be for you, but that's what it is, and it's very good within those parameters. So that absolutely gets an A. Boop. All right, we still in October. We did a lot of good stuff. Well, shit, not this. Eternal Darkness. So it's funny. Morris and I were talking about this earlier. A lot of people played Eternal Darkness. I feel like it's kind of a spooky month tradition. And so we know quite a few people who tried streaming this past October and just couldn't get through it because it just gets to be such a grind towards the end. And it has a lot of promise building up. It is a game that I didn't know what it was. It's like a game that takes place in like present day, but it bounces around like different time periods. So you get to see a lot of different interwoven stories, but it doesn't do enough with that formula. And a lot of those stories start getting to be repetitive, and you have to keep listening to zombie Paul Eiding like threaten you over and over again. And yeah, I think it just didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, it had so many avenues to be something really interesting, but it just wanted to throw like giant monsters. And all the giant monsters had like some weird soap opera thing going on that they never really expounded on. They just expect you to believe it. So I'm bummed out that I didn't get to see how that whole thing concluded, but I couldn't do it anymore. The GameCube controller was like killing my hands. I got through 4 streams of it and I'm like, I can't. I gotta do other stuff. So that gets a D for disappointing. I think I don't know. Yeah. Again, I wish I could have suffered through more of it, but I didn't want to make anyone else suffer. I feel like once you've seen all of the sanity effects in that game, there's not a whole lot else to go on. You know what I mean? It's Silicon Knights. That's their legacy. I guess they'd rather have this legacy than the one that they actually ended up with. Oh, gotta push the button. Clock Tower. File under games that I'm glad I played for the history and experience of it, but that I didn't really enjoy playing. Or I got as far into that game as I could without just having to start over constantly or just be like rewinding state. And like, Okay, I think I've gotten as much stream entertainment out of this as I possibly can. It was very cool to see a lot of what would become like survival horror tropes in a SNES game of all things. And this game didn't see a US release until I think last year when they did the Clock Tower reclocked. What do they call it? They called it something cute. I don't remember what it was. But you can play this game now. Yeah, I think it's pretty much just the SNES game. But yeah, as okay. As all right. It was one spoopy stream. That's all I really wanted out of it. Shadowgate. Oh, so this was a lot of people might have been familiar with the NES version of this. Oh yeah, see for clock. You're both on top of it. I played the Mac Venture. I played the Apple II GS version of this, I think, because it was in color. And was it that one? I don't remember which one I played. I couldn't play the original Macintosh version because it was too. The interface was a little bit woof. But we just played through this because I was leading myself up to playing the newer one, Beyond Shadowgate, and like this game, I feel like you either have played this game before and you like it, or it'd be hard to recommend like the classic Shadowgate seriously to anyone. But I'm glad I got to walk through it and get squashed by a block and go through some of the other funny stuff. So I was familiar with that. So as a lead-in for the next one, I thought it was a good game. And then we get to play a Beyond Shadowgate. This is a brand new game put together by some of the devs of the original one in the style of the NES Shadowgate. And it had its own story. It had like a lot more rooms in it. On the puzzle side, it wasn't too difficult. I don't think it was really presented as a super challenging puzzle game, although there were some hoops you had to jump through to get certain endings, which I ended up doing. But another cool thing was I got to, I think I got some of the devs popped in to say hi. That's always a really cool thing. I'm always glad when that happens. And I really liked your game, so thank you for doing that. It was a perfect way to wrap up the spooky month. What was not so good a way to wrap it up was Dungeon Munchies, a game that I had on my wish list for a long time because it's like a quirky anime Metroidvania thing, and I thought, yeah, let's just jump right into that. And it started out okay. Like, I think I was expecting a little more from the whole like cooking mechanic. That was a big like selling point of it. Dungeon Munchies. So you like killing monsters and frying up their parts, which you do get to do, but the way that they implemented it was you just get you just make one weapon and then you just have it. You aren't making like foods that, it's not like Breath of the Wild where you make like power-up foods. You basically just craft equipment and then you just have it. So I was a little bit bummed about that, but I thought, okay, well, whatever. It's just it's a Metroidvania. We'll just play it as a regular old platformer. That's fine. It's pretty fun. And then I started realizing just how linear the game is. And by the time I finished the first session of it, it was like building up to a major story point. And that story point was that you had to basically go all the way back to the beginning now that everything is awful, and basically start the second half of the game, which is, I think it was, I'm not positive about this, but I think it was developed and released episodically, or like they did the first half and then they did the second half later. And then it just, overall, I think, again, it was lining up my expectations with what the game actually was. But I didn't enjoy what was there enough to keep going with it. And again, it had a lot of promise. You may like it yourself. I didn't. So unfortunately, I got to give that one a D for dungeon. Down in the dungeon you go. Oh, Friday the 13th. Destroy Jason if you can. Spoiler, we couldn't. No one could destroy Jason. This game is... this game is rough. It's kind of a cult classic in its roughness, which is why I wanted to give it a try. So I planned on playing this game for like an hour before I played the next thing. So in that context, it was perfectly fine. I also played Nightmare on Elm Street, which was somehow worse than this. Thanks, Rare. Thanks for making these sort of okay games. I mean, like, the games were terrible, but I knew that going in. Actually did better at Friday the 13th than I thought I would. I still didn't win. Sorry, all the campers are dead. All right, chat.
Right.
Here we go.
Right. Right. Up. My God. Left. Up. Left. Left. Up. This is such a time waster when you clearly say left, and she goes down. No, up. Right.
Oh, man. That was one of the less infuriating encounters in that game. I'm really happy that I got through that. There were some times where I wasn't sure. I had to look up a lot of walkthroughs for that, especially some of the puzzles. Even so, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, even looking up how to do everything, it was still almost impossible to actually say the things that you needed to say for her to do the things to win the game. But we did it. We won the game. And honestly, y'all made that experience worth it. Also, we get the poop self clip, which was one of the... I went into that thinking that there'd be a lot more opportunities to tell her to do like wacky shit, which I think I end up skipping over a lot of that stuff. Again, I felt like I was playing a game that other people's playthroughs of this game were a lot more popular, and it was going to be kind of a drag, but y'all being here made that really special for me, so I'm personally putting that at the top of the list. If nothing else, for the fact that I actually did get through it. Giving myself a lot of brownie points for that. Definitely special. All right, Stardust Demon. Another really super pleasant surprise. Except for that one part where I couldn't jump over the ledge because I didn't know how to jump right. When I figured out what I was doing wrong, I was like, oh. Another game where I got a lot of interaction from the dev on social media, which I also thought was really cool. It was also cool to see Merle play this because I didn't recommend this game to Merle, but someone else did, and I was really happy to see like someone else play this game after I had played it. Because yeah, it's kind of a hidden gem now that I understand the jumping nonsense. Yeah, because I didn't fully understand that. I was trying to do like a dash at the top of the jump, but I actually got more horizontal distance if I waited, and that still doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it's probably my fault. It's probably just my brain doesn't work. Anyway, great characters in it, super cute, super gay in parts, which is great. And yeah, I got to do a lot of voice acting and I got to do some puzzle solving. There are a lot of collectibles in that game that I didn't figure out that are also super hard to get. This is putting it into like Crash Bandicoot 4 territory. But I may go back and play that on my own time and try and unlock more of this stuff. So yep, absolute A. I'd probably just, if it weren't for that jumping thing, I might have put it higher, but that was my fault. All right. We gotta be getting close to the holiday stuff. I don't even know what's next. Oh fuck! It's Bridge to Another World, the Christmas curse. This game was cursed. So this is where I decided we're probably done with the whole hidden object game thing. And these games have always had like a weird, uncanny style to them, visually. But now they're just getting full on into AI slop territory, and they're not even shy about it. So. We're not going to be playing any more of those probably, unless I do some of the older ones, like Candy Storm or some shit. But, goodbye. We're flushing you. Okay, what are we rounding up the list with? Pipsqueak. Yeah, a demo for a game that this came up in conversation because I think they got a shout out from someone, but they did an update. This game is still being worked on. It's a Metroidvania with a mouse, so I'm into it already. I played the demo. I really liked it. It was it was a demo. It was super short, but I'm eager to see more because I really liked the pixel animation was really smooth, and I'm a sucker for that. So I give that a B. Yeah, check that out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it should be. Actually, I don't know. I don't want to make any promises that aren't mine to make, but keep an eye on it. Yeah, we went to. I went through a lot of demos for the holiday stuff that I'm just kind of clearing off my backlog, and one of those was Desktop Explorer. Now there was some meat to this demo. It's a puzzle game that takes place on like this Windows 98 style fiction desktop, and it's a puzzle game, and it's presented like a Windows 98 machine. And I won't spoil too much more about it, but I really liked that demo, so I'm looking forward to seeing this game released. We'll probably give that one another try. So as a demo, that one definitely gets a big old A. What else did my fucking iBun, are you around? You're responsible for this. I was just sitting around playing Christmas games, and someone said, hey, go play Skeel. I'm like, okay. I have no idea what this is. And amazingly, I didn't get the VOD muted for playing this. So I don't know if that's a knock on Seal or not. It's a skiing game that plays Kiss from a Rose by Seal. That's I mean, there's more to it than that, but not a whole lot more. I could give this one an S tier as a joke, but you know what? We'll give it an A. I'll give it that much. We've totally filled it. Did I fill out I might have bumped some of this stuff off if I accidentally ranked too many things in A. But we'll give Skeel an A. Because I've got at least one more A game. Does anyone remember this? As I was sitting around finding Christmas games to play, I popped this on because I saw this one on itch.io, and it's called How the Rat Stole Christmas, and it was just a puzzle game. It's called How the Rat Stole Christmas, so we'll play a few levels of this, and we ended up playing the whole damn thing with some help because I got stuck on some puzzles, but we finished it together. This was the first game I thought of for this came out towards the end, and I almost forgot to put these on because I forgot I played so many of these games during the Christmas stream, and we bounced around a lot. We were doing commercials. That's what my Christmas streams usually are. It's kind of whatever we're feeling. It was a short game, but I liked a lot of the concepts, so yeah, we give this another A. I should have made more room in the A tier, but look how full the B tiers are. Maybe I should have promoted Skeel to S. I don't know. Maybe that should have happened. Yeah, the stocking stuffer stream. That's great. We're almost towards the end, chat. This is 199. Dead Rising 4. Oof. Now, I don't know what possessed me to play this. I think I was out of stuff to do. I knew I was going to be taking a longer break, and I hadn't played a Dead Rising 4 game, or I hadn't played a Dead Rising game, and that one was like on sale. So I thought, I know a lot of people don't like this game, and I'm willing to give it a shot. And I played it for a while, and I was like, oh, yeah. It's hard to explain. After I played the first Dead Rising remaster, I started understanding why this one was so obnoxious in particular. It's got a lot of like modern game annoyances in that like Frank's characterization is like way over the top, and it's all spectacle. That's basically what it is. This is trying to put like a shiny coat over a dog turd. I don't know how else to say it. So, I don't know. I wanted to give it a fair shot, but even having not played any of the other Dead Rising games, I still found myself feeling like this was like pissing on the grave of the Dead Rising franchise. So, yeah, I didn't play anymore. And in fact, I bought that on Steam sale for like $5 and then I refunded it. That's how much I didn't care if I ever played it again. So, we're finally at the last game. Speaking of which, now again, this is right up to the January before I restarted the stream. And I mentioned before that we didn't put Jazzpunk on there, which I would put Jazzpunk as like right on the top of the B line. And we're still playing Cryptmaster. And we've already ranked Sands of Time. We're going to finish that next Monday. I can't believe that this has gone on for like 4.5 hours. Thank you all for sticking with me. I did not know that this was going to go on this long, as teaching me things about planning. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. So I played this as kind of a one-off in January before I took another month off again. Because I wanted to see what Dead Rising was about. Oh, good night, Cube. Thank you so much for sticking around for so long. Really appreciate it. Just like all of you for all these 3 years and remembering all the stuff that I've forgotten. I can't tell you how much it means. But Dead Rising, this is a game I do want to play more of this on my own time probably, because I'm fascinated by the concept and I want to see where it goes. Like, it's so different from what was presented in Dead Rising 4. It actually feels like a game with tension in it, with zombies, and you're against a time limit, and you've got kind of a time loop thing going. Yeah, it's super interesting. It's also really hard. I got stuck somewhere where I was getting run over by some gangsters in a truck. So I might need to play it a couple more times to get a better start, but it also feels like it's designed to be played that way. Also, Frank, put that rat down. You can't throw that at the zombie. Yeah, it's I don't know what to think of it because I'm so earlier into it, but I'm curious and I want to play more of it. I don't know if it'll be on stream or not, but yeah, Dead Rising gets a B. And chat, I believe if I press the next item button, is that going to break everything? That's it. There's no more games to play. There you are. Now, take your screenshot because I can't zoom in. If you're watching this in the VOD, it's pretend it's on the B. I didn't get to make the thing for it. I was out of time to make more thumbnails. But it is there's one tiny slot. You can put Jazzpunk right there. That's where it goes. It was a fun 2 hour stream. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought for sure I can zip through this. I won't have like 15 minutes of stuff to say about Scalar for the PS2, but and here we are. Chat, that is it. I don't know how to end this except here's the list. Thank you so much for like letting me do this because I got really hyper focused on making this thing work. And you should see, I hope I get to show off the node graphs in Warudo just for like the effects and stuff. And also my loading. It worked that time. But why didn't it work in the other scene? I don't know. That's what it was supposed to do the first time. Okay. Did it rotate right? Hang on a minute. Okay, it doesn't rotate right, but I can fix that later. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's me right now. My head's empty. We're done.